Hey everybody, what's going on? It's Friday.
Yeah. Hey, why is there a blue line around the screen?
It's okay. It's just because.
That's weird. Okay.
No, it's just because the cursor.
Cursor was on it. Yeah, I've never seen that.
No, it's no big deal.
I'm sitting here looking at the controls. I'm going like, what happened?
Sounds like looking at the camera, going, "What's wrong with you?"
Yeah, why is it different? Hold on. We're gonna get headless feedback.
Yeah, you need to turn the volume down on that. Otherwise, that's gonna be super distracting.
So it's Friday night.
And it's the post-Christmas malaise.
After Christmas. And we're not going out. We're going to stay in. We're just going to drink with y'all.
Yeah.
Talk about shit.
Friday night.
We saw Nosferatu.
Okay, don't ruin it, though, because we got to do that on Monday.
We got to do that on Monday.
We'll do
Go see it.
Yeah.
It's
really good.
It's the best vampire movie I've ever seen.
It's really good.
Yeah. And it's almost a better telling of Dracula than Dracula.
Yeah.
You know, it's a German ripoff of Dracula.
Yeah, I mean there's
a few things that are different.
It's mostly the same as Dracula. Well,
yeah.
I mean, if you saw the original one from 1922 or the Werner Herzog one, it follows that same plot, but which is different. The end is different than Dracula.
Just a German telling of Dracula.
Yeah, Tammy saw it too, and so did High Desert.
Yeah. I thought.
Yeah, he said it was great. Yeah,
great.
It was really good.
And just the way they portrayed fucking Count Orlok. You recognize that face? You recognize that face he had? That's fucking Prince Vlad. That's Prince Vlad Tepes, or the fucking old woodcuts of him with the nose and the fucking mustache and everything. I go, yeah, they fucking nailed it. They were like, we're straight up fucking Vlad Tepes.
Yeah, I mean,
out in the 1500s fucking Romanian outfit and everything.
Bill Skarsgård did a great job.
Yeah,
you can't even tell that's him like underneath all of that.
Yeah,
but
and
he's always, man, you want somebody to play like a fucking freaky weirdo.
Mm-hmm.
Bill Skarsgård is your man.
Yeah. Best thing about it is that they gave all the characters a lot to do. Like there's kind of like a Renfield in this. In the Dracula telling, Renfield just gets killed in prison. All right, you go like, why was Dracula? What was he using that dude for? Well, he uses him a lot more, and he's in this telling, and he did have a destiny and everything, which that was a much better way to handle that character. Was it like that in the original Nosferatu? How he died? I don't think so. Was it
similar?
Okay.
As far as I remember.
And another thing that's better about this one is that they give Count Orlok lots of lines. He says and does a lot of cool shit. He's not. That was a problem with Bela Lugosi's Dracula. He's almost kind of like a bit character in his own movie. A lot of times Dracula is like a bit character, a bit part. You don't see very much of him. And this one you see a lot of him, and he says a lot of shit. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. And we just saw it like yesterday afternoon, like at 3:45 or something like that, and it was really crowded. Like the theater was crowded.
Yeah.
Holy crap, there was a million bajillion.
It's going to be one of the best movies of the year.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Probably the best movie.
Definitely.
But it's, y'all know how I am about, vampire stories and shit. This is the best vampire movie. Bar none. Better than Bram Stoker's Dracula. It's the best vampire movie.
Now I'm kind of, on the way back, I was kind of curious. I was like, well, if you like that, now I kind of want Tom to see The Witch. The same director.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's kind of, you might like it. I'm not really sure.
Okay.
I mean, I loved it, but it might not be your thing.
I'd give it a chance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's in that period English.
Okay, yeah.
Like from that time period, so.
Yeah, it's a great period piece, and the costumes everything looked authentic. The settings, the locations where they were, it looked, it really brought you back. They didn't have any kind of like cheesy fucking American modern fucking casting. These are all just fucking Germans and fucking Romanians. There's nobody else in it.
Well,
they're speaking English.
They're all British, actually.
Yeah, but I thought they were supposed to be that was happening.
Well, they are supposed to be Germans, but all the actors are British.
Yeah. But I just meant the characters are all Germans.
Yeah.
And Romanians, gypsies and stuff. It's all people from that period and that place. So it's good, real good, excellent.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. Like I said, we'll talk about it more on Monday. Yeah, that'll be the movie review. Don't want to spoil it too much.
Almost up there, It's up there with fucking Spanish Dracula. I like Spanish Dracula too.
Yeah, we did a review of that a while back.
Yeah.
Sorry, I wanted to read a couple of these because these were funny. DVD Dragon said, I didn't see Mommy kissing Santa Claus, but I did see Saint Nick all coked up and executing a beautiful Tom Hardy back arch, putting presents under the tree. Did you get a picture?
Yeah. You could sell that.
I buy it.
You could sell that, yeah. Santa with back arch, Tom Hardy back arch, underneath the tree.
I bet there's a picture
admiring
on the
women
internet,
taking pictures and shit.
somewhere.
Yeah.
CB says, my girlfriend got super pissed when she found out the family showing up at Christmas. Because remember when his family showed up unexpectedly at Christmas when they were in the middle of something?
Yeah.
Said, yeah, they found out that was her sister's idea because it fucked up the plans we had. I always thought it was so fucking rude for people to show up at your house without calling ahead of time. I know in some cultures it isn't. Because it's kind of considered like ruder to expect other people to like accommodate you. Like when you, it's like a weird thing. But it's like I kind of feel like it's super rude to just show up at somebody's house like without telling them that you're coming, unless it's like an emergency or some shit. But yeah, a bunch of people did see Nosferatu and said it was great. CB says Jenny looking good, thank you, and Tom in the same T-shirt as the Christmas special. Is it? I don't remember what shirt.
I got lots of these. I got lots of these.
Yeah, he just has a lot. Like Smurfette, he has like a lot of like clothes that look the same.
It's almost like I'm wearing uniforms.
Yeah.
But of these kind of shirts, I got about fucking 8 of them. They're all slightly different colors. Gray, OD green. Fucking, I got black ones. I got like 3 black ones, and then I got. One of them is fucking coyote color, but and then I got a shit ton of black T-shirts that I fucking have fucking Snake Plissken on them. Because I make my own shirts too. So, but I don't like a lot of variation. I like the same thing. Except when I go to the club, I'll change things up. But fucking around the house, I just wear the same thing.
Yeah, pretty much.
Kinda. Like the pants that I have on right now, I have like 6 pair of these. Same pants. The only difference is their age. Some of them are lighter than the others. I actually like the older ones that have kind of turned gray.
Because the black ones broken in.
Yeah, the black ones kind of an eyesore to me. I like it. I like gray. It's a little easier on the eye.
American Military says, I wanted to address this because he said, I feel like a dumbass. I recommended Silent Night Bloody Night. What I meant was Silent Night Deadly Night with Linnea Quigley. Sorry to put you guys through that lame flick. No, you did actually recommend Silent Night Deadly Night, and I actually was going to do that. I thought we'd already done it, but we did Silent Night Deadly Night 2. That's what I was thinking of. But we had never done the first one. So I was actually thinking about doing the first one, but I picked Silent Night Bloody Night because that one was free, and Silent Night Deadly Night you had to pay to rent it. That's why. But we'll do Silent Night Deadly Night next year, I guess. But we did do part 2, like a couple Christmases ago. That's why for a second I thought we already did it. High Desert said I saw a lot of old farts going to see the Bob Dylan movie. That might be good. I don't know. I'm not a huge Bob Dylan fan. I might watch it if it was like on streaming.
Yeah, I wouldn't pay to see it.
Yeah, Burley says better than Dracula, the 1992 one starring Keanu Reeves. It's a different kind of movie. Like High Desert said that it seemed like Hammer, like in its prime, which but it also gave me the look of it. Like I said, I don't want to get too much into it because we won't have anything left to talk about on Monday. But it looked a lot like the Werner Herzog one, at least like kind of where it was shot and like just the lighting of it just kind of reminded me of that. But then it also had like a real silent movie aesthetic to it. It's not in black and white. Parts of it are, but it's in color. But it has a real muted like color palette, so it almost kind of seems like it's in black and white, but it has like a real silent movie aesthetic to it, which I kind of dug.
Yeah, it's almost like gray, blue, and black.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's very muted.
Yeah.
It
looks good.
Yeah.
And it's it has real horror in it. You know what I mean? Fucking, it's not jump scares. It's creepy shit happens.
Yeah, there are a couple jump scares.
There are some, but it's not just all just that. But
yeah, it's mostly just kind of creepy.
Yeah.
You know.
And the acting was really good.
High Desert said the only thing I didn't like was the soundtrack. It didn't seem interesting. Yeah, it didn't really stand out. So,
well, they were remaking fucking Nosferatu though. They weren't remaking Dracula. It was Nosferatu. Nosferatu is a silent movie. So I think they just kept it real toned down.
Well, and High Desert says the 1979 Nosferatu, the Werner Herzog one, had a much better soundtrack. Yeah, we reviewed that a while back, but I don't remember what the soundtrack sounds like. You know what I mean? But, you know, like I said...
It's still a great movie.
I thought it was really good. And, yeah, it's long and stuff, but... I don't know, I couldn't really tell, like, what the audience thought of it. We bought the tickets. I think they liked it. I think so too, but it's just kind of because I mean everyone was like it was crowded. The theater was crowded, but it was like really quiet in there, which I was glad about that.
I'm not sure they knew that in Nosferatu the vampires killed in a different way.
Well, I was kind of wondering about that. I was kind of wondering about that. If like people that came to see it, if they were not familiar with the differences between. Yeah. I mean, it's basically Dracula, but there's like differences. And I wondered if they like knew that, like, what the fuck? That's not how Dracula gets killed. I don't know. But the thing about it, so I bought the tickets like yesterday morning, and there was a few other people in there already because you know how you can pick your seats on the AMC website, and I picked like the first 3 rows were completely empty, and we like to kind of sit close to the front, so I picked like row C, like in the middle, and there was nobody. And then, like, so we go there, and we're sitting there for a while. We got there, like, a little bit early. And then, like, 4 people come and sit, like, right next to us on this side. And then 4 more people come and sit right next to us on this side. And then the 2 rows in front of us are completely empty. I'm like, really? You guys really picked the row that already had people in it instead of picking a completely empty row that was, like, right in front of... Why? Why do people do that? That drives me fucking crazy. I try to get as far away from people... If there's people sitting in a row, I'm like, yeah, I'm not sitting in that row.
Yeah.
I'm not. I don't like being by anybody. Not just because you never know if they're gonna be loud, and even if they don't talk and shit like that, it's like their little phones might ding. They're crumpling paper. They're really shifting. They're breathing.
That's really why I actually prefer to go during the weekday during the day.
Yeah, which we did, but
yeah, but it's in the holidays, so you know what I mean.
Yeah, I think a lot of people were off work. Yeah. So,
but you know, normally. If you go see something about around noon, around that time, it's going to be dead in there.
Yeah. I mean, we went later in the afternoon, like that. But shit, man, we went to Altamont, the Altamont Mall, and we went to the food court before the movie and, like, just got some Chinese food or whatever, and that fucking place was packed. You can't even find a table in there.
Yeah.
And they have a big food court.
That's the only busy mall, right?
That mall was, like, heaving. Yeah. There was a bajillion people in there. Yeah. But, you know, like I said...
They got good food in that food court.
They do, actually.
Yeah, good Chinese food. They used to have Indian food, but it closed down.
It was decent though. I ate there a couple times.
Yeah, you know,
I like the Mediterranean grill. Yeah. What the hell is it called? I think it's just called Mediterranean grill. I don't even think it has a name.
I thought it was kind of basic. I didn't.
Well,
really like
it is kind of basic, but I don't know. I thought it was good. Their Greek salad is real good. I never had. They have some other places too. They have like a Vietnamese. They have a Japanese place. They have a Mexican place. I think they have a Philly cheesesteak place. They got a fucking... Is there a Taco Bell in there? Taco Bell, Chick-fil-A. I don't remember what... There's an Italian place. I've never eaten at that one, though. They used to have one of those... They used to have a Nature's Table, but I think that's a smoothie place now.
What's everybody talking about?
Let's see. Full Metal Nosferatu says, Happy Holidays.
Full Metal Nosferatu.
Happy Holidays, Jenny Tom. Yeah. I haven't had a chance to watch your episode about Silent Night, Bloody Night, but recently I got a DVD copy of Silent Night, Bloody Night, The Homecoming, a remake. Yeah, I had heard about that, and I'd be kind of curious to see it. I do kind of want to rewatch that, like, in better quality. You know what I mean? High Desert said, I think the first 2 rows are too close. It depends.
Depends on what theater you're talking about.
I don't like to sit in the front, but second row or third row is fine. I kind of like the third row because that's like right before the aisle, so nobody's sitting behind you.
Some of the AMC theaters, ones that aren't even, what's the expensive one? Dolby?
Or the IMAX or whatever. Or the Dolby Theater, yeah.
Yeah, some of them aren't even Dolby. I think they might be IMAX. That front seat, the front row, you can actually see very well because the seats are big and they recline back so far you're laying there. You can see pretty well. We've had to do it before. But, yeah, back in the old days, you know, with the old standard fucking theater seats, yeah, the front row fucking sucked.
Yeah, because you're like,
oh, the whole time. Now they recline back there. It's so big, you know.
And I find, well, don't they curve the? I don't know if they always used
screen's
to do that.
Kind of curved.
The screen's kind of curved, so it doesn't really seem. that. But the one we saw it out, we didn't get the Dolby. They had one Dolby showing, but it was like at 10 o'clock at night. So the rest of them were just in the regular ass without the reclining.
Dolby didn't matter. It was still a good movie.
Yeah, I don't really think you needed Dolby for that. Although, I mean, it might have been cool to see it like that, but you didn't really need it.
You could always see it again.
That's true. I wouldn't mind.
See it during the day.
Yeah.
In Dolby.
Briley says, bring back random seating. I was kind of thinking that, like, because honestly, most of the, I mean, I guess it matters more, like, if you're going to see, like, some big tentpole movie that, like, is going to be packed. And then, yeah, you want reserved seats, so it's not going to be sold out when you get there, but it's just kind of like...
Reserve's better.
You think?
Yeah.
For the rest of the time, I feel like, what's the point?
Because you know where you're going to be sitting.
Yeah, I guess.
And then you can look and see how many people are going to be in that show.
And then they're like, let's sit right by those people.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't want too many people. I'm not going to go into that one.
Yeah.
Because there have been times where we decided not to go because we looked to see how full it was. And we're like, no.
We're like, no.
Yeah. And they had all the good seats anyway.
Because we have two theaters that are, like, pretty much equidistant.
Yeah, and they're both AMC.
Just, like, in opposite directions. And, it's weird because I thought the one in Altamont was farther, but it's actually not. Mm-hmm. It's actually either about the same distance or slightly closer.
It's about the same.
I think
a mile or so.
I looked at the thing and it said the Altamont one was 16.8 miles.
Yeah.
And Lake Square is 17.2 miles or something. So it's like a half mile.
Yeah.
Closer. Even though it seems closer, like it seems like a... But
the Altamont AMC is nicer.
It's nicer. The Lake Square one's a little...
rednecky.
A little junky.
Yeah.
That mall's a little junky.
Kind of rednecky and junky. Go in there, man. Me and Jen have gone in there at times to go see the movie. There's people already in the fuck. And me and Jenny are the only people under 250 pounds.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just biggins. They get just nothing but biggins upon biggins upon biggins.
Waddling through the mall.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we kind of, a lot of times too, the nice thing about that mall is that one, Ichiban Buffet is right across the parking lot.
That's a good part, right?
And two, there's a big Books A Million in that mall.
Yeah.
That has like a nice little coffee shop in it. So you can kind of sit there and get coffee and like wait for the movie. And it's a nice bookstore, you know what I mean?
Those girls in there make a good coffee.
They do, yeah.
Like iced coffees and shit.
But,
special flavors.
It's called, what is that?
Black Velvet fucking coffee drinks.
What's that one? They don't have it all the time, but it's like a chai tea.
Yeah.
Frappuccino type. It's not Starbucks. It's Joe Muggs.
Joe Muggs.
That's right. Like Books A Million have Joe Muggs in there.
Yeah.
But
and it's good.
Yeah, we know a couple of the girls that work in there.
Yeah.
So because we go in there all the time, and what they do on the weekends sometimes it's either on Friday or Saturday or I can't remember what, but there's like a pet adoption thing in the area, and they come there every weekend and bring dogs and cats and set them all up in the cafe and in the bookstore and stuff, and you can like pet all the kitties, and they're trying to get like all of them adopted and whatnot. That's actually where our kitty Bambi originally came from. She came from that place, but then they put her in PetSmart.
Yeah.
Like the PetSmart that was in that mall. Yeah. And that's where we saw her.
Yeah.
She had just got there that morning.
I don't know, remember something, I had a weird feeling, you know what I mean? Went in there and looked at the cat, and it said Manx cat, and I saw that cat's tail, and it says, we're getting that cat.
Yeah, what we did, we were going to a movie that day.
Yeah.
And for some reason, they said, oh, let's go look at PetSmart, which we don't usually do. Yeah. But it's like, let's go look at PetSmart, and then we looked in there, and then we saw her.
Yeah.
And she kind of looked at us. She looked at Tom. Yeah. And we saw it was a Manx, and it was a female. And we were like, oh, Pookie's a Manx, too. Yeah. It's like, look, if she's still here when that movie is over, we're coming back and getting her.
Yeah, we got her. It was funny because we put the cat in the box. The cat was in the box and didn't make a peep the whole way.
She was like,
fucking word. And fucking, I looked down there and I saw her. She looked up at me. Took her out to the hallway here. Pookie was looking at the box. I opened the box and her head comes up and Pookie sees it and goes.
No!
Yeah, fucking, that cat just jumped out and was looking around and was immediately like, hey, this is cool, yeah. So I grabbed her and walked her around the whole house, showed her everything. And she knew it. She's like, oh, I'm getting a tour.
Yeah.
And I just brought her back and set her down and then just walked away from her. And she's, okay, yeah. Jen showed her where the litter box was. And
she's like, all right, I could deal with this. Yeah. She's totally chill.
Felt right. Yeah, she went, okay, this is my new house. She didn't know where she was going, but she didn't even cry or anything, just being quiet.
Yeah, she was just in the box the whole time, just kind of like, oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Whereas, man, if we take Pookie somewhere, like if she has to go to the vet or something, we put her in the box, she's like, ah! like the whole time. And we've only taken her to the vet a couple of times, and it wasn't that bad.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Maybe she still remembers like going to get fixed.
Yeah.
Is probably what.
She wasn't in the store window long. She'd ride there that day.
Yeah, they told us because we said we want that kitty, and they said she just got here from Tampa this morning, and she was only 18 months old.
Yeah.
And they said, well, from what I could determine, because we asked the ladies at Books A Million like the following week, I said, because her name was Dakota.
Yeah.
Like when he got her.
You could still call her that.
Yeah, I mean she's
all our cats have 5 names.
She doesn't care.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Because we also call Bambi Lady Ploppington.
Yeah, just make up names for her.
Bumper Car.
Bumper Car.
That's another one.
She looks like a bumper car.
Because her little short tail goes...
sticks straight up. She looks like a damn bumper car.
But she runs around like it just sticks straight up like that. Like a little bumper car thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, they said, no, she just got here. And they said, from what I could determine, I think that she had a litter of kittens already. And her family were like, oh no, we can't have this. And got rid of her.
Yes, they spayed her.
So they spayed her and then put her up for adoption. And then they drove her over in a van from Tampa. And then they put her in that PetSmart in fucking Eustis. Or is that Eustis? Or I don't know where the fuck that is.
She loves it here. Looks out the window all day.
Yeah, she's like, oh,
she's got all different windows. She looks at standing on windowsills.
Then she comes and like
fucks with Pokey.
And then like hangs out under my desk all day, like laying around being like, hey, pet. We still can't get her to jump on the bed though.
No, she won't go on the bed.
Although every morning between 7 and 8 a.m., I'm laying there half asleep, and then all of a sudden I'll hear, Mah!
Yeah, it doesn't start that way though. I hear it before. I just hear this.
Like,
and I was like,
what? Excuse me.
She starts real quiet, making funny noises, clicking noises. And then it eventually becomes, hey!
Would you get up?
Get up!
She's pretty polite about it, though.
Yeah, she tries
But then,
to be nice.
I open one eye and she's sitting, right there, next to the bed. That's on my side of the bed. Looking at me with her
She wakes up Jen every morning.
With her little head tilted over like that. Like, can I have some wet food now, please?
and she wakes up before dawn, usually.
It depends on the day, but it's usually by 7-ish. Yeah. But sometimes she waits until 8, you know what I mean? And if you ignore her, sometimes she'll go away, but sometimes she'll just get louder.
Yeah.
You know? Talking about...
What are they asking now?
Theaters.
There's all kinds of commentary.
Oracle has arrived. Hey, what's up?
What's
Victor
up,
is here. Everybody's here. Full Metal Nosferatu said, I'm hoping to get my fiance to a screening of Nosferatu after she's back from Maine. It seems like it's doing even better than they expected. The projections that they had, it was higher than that. So I guess a lot of people are going to see it. Victor says Flick's Brewhouse is the best movie theater.
Oh, that's the one where you can actually eat and drink there, I think.
Well, we have one like that here. Well, there's one, that's not the same one. There's one called...
AMC has one of those.
Alamo Draft House, which is kind of a chain.
And some of the AMC theaters had that kind of shit.
Yeah, ours has a bar.
Yeah. You don't want to drink from there. I had a drink from there. It's overpriced and weak.
Yeah, they're very weak.
Yeah.
We have had ones from there before, but...
They taste good, but it's candy drinks, and they're not strong.
And you can get, real food there, but... At some point, but we have one here in Orlando called the Enzian, and they don't show first run movies. They show art house stuff or cult movies or documentaries. I went and saw the Nick Cave documentary there.
I remember that one
a few years ago, and they have big tables and everything like that. So they'll bring you glasses of wine and pizza and all that kind of stuff. So it's it's a nice place. It's been there forever. I don't even remember when they opened. Let's see. They're talking about nursing and stuff like that. CB said, when you first get a cat, they don't make a sound, but then they go to the vet for the first time, they turn into a bitch in the basket.
That was the funniest thing that we ever did is take Pookie to the vet. And I put Pookie up on a table. Me and Jen were standing next to the table, and the nurses came in. And Pookie couldn't run anywhere. She didn't know where she was. She just stayed on a table. She's like, what the fuck are we doing here?
I don't like this.
One of the nurses came in and just laid on her, and the other one stuck a thermometer up her ass. And I think gave her a shot, and then they let her go. And and Pookie looked at me and started swatting at me. You didn't help. And they started laughing. They're like, she's blaming you. And I said, She's like, you didn't help me.
Why did you let them do this to me, Daddy?
I was like, what the fuck?
She's forgiven you now.
Yeah.
You suck. Yeah, it's funny that she had the presence of mind to know it's like not blame the nurses who actually did it, but blame you for not preventing
for not
it.
stopping it.
And for bringing you to this place.
Yeah.
You know, in the first place.
Although she was happy when she left.
Yeah.
She's
she was
like, okay, that's all
that,
it was.
That was over.
Yeah, that's all it was.
I think she thought at first that we were going to leave her there.
Yeah, maybe.
Because I think what happened too, like when we first took her to get fixed, you have to leave her there. Like you go there like early in the morning because they do like a bunch of them. You know what I mean? They have certain days where they do it.
Yeah.
And so you have to go there like at 7 in the morning and like leave them. And I was flipping out. I was like, I don't like to leave her anywhere. And they're like, yeah, come back at 3 o'clock or whatever.
Yeah.
And they call you like, and so we came back to get her, and she was like all
sleepy,
bedraggled in her little, and she had her little cone on.
Yeah.
And she just like looked, and she was like.
Yeah,
like she made this little face like
yeah.
You came back. I think she thought that we left her there, and it's like it broke my heart. I was just kind of like, oh my god.
She was happy to be back.
Yeah.
She didn't make a peep the whole way back.
Yeah, she was like, oh.
She's like, good going home.
Yeah.
She felt better when she got home.
Then we wrapped her.
I took that cone off of her. I was like, that ain't going.
Yeah, she didn't. Well, she didn't fuck with the.
Yeah, she didn't mess with it.
But we just kind of wrapped her in a little blanket.
She went underneath the bed
for a little while,
and then she came back out a couple hours later. She was all right.
And then sat on the window seat.
Yeah.
Because I have a picture of her, like, wrapped in a little blanket, like, looking forlornly out the window, like, after that got done. But it's just, like, her little face when we came to get her. It's like, oh, my God. I just, like...
She was relieved.
Yeah, she was... And I was like, oh, my God, she thought we weren't coming back. She thought we left her. But,
I don't know. I think they just don't know. They don't know what's happening.
Yeah, I don't know. She's pretty smart, though.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
She's the smartest cat that I've ever had, and I've had a lot of cats. And they're not dumb, like, none of them are dumb, but she seems weirdly smart.
Yeah, she's not like a cat, more like a dog.
Yeah. Almost like a person sometimes, like all the little faces
facial
she
expressions
makes.
And stuff.
And like the little intonations.
Yeah.
Like this, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Of her, like you know exactly what she's talking about.
Yeah.
Which is like super funny. Flick's Brewhouse, says Victor, brews their own beer on the premises, and it's really good beer. Yeah, we don't have those here, unfortunately. We're just stuck with AMC. Let's see. Yeah, CB said I can't get my cat Tig to stay the fuck out of my bed. Yeah, Pookie's the same. She loves the bed. She'll come up and sit on it like all day. We don't care. But I would like all the cats on the bed.
Yeah.
But Bambi will not get on the bed.
Something happened to her. She was punished for getting on the bed at one time.
I'm assuming. Yeah. I got her to jump on the bed of her own accord one time.
Yeah. And
she just kind of wandered around for a second. She was like, whoa, and then she jumped back off. And I still can't get her. I'm like, come on. But she won't. She just looks at me like, no.
She might get over it.
Yeah, eventually.
She didn't have problems with the furniture.
Yeah, it's not like she can't jump.
Yeah.
She jumps on other things, but it's just like... And we've even picked her up and put her on the bed, and she's just like, no, and she just like runs and jumps off. So...
I had her on my chest while I was laying on the bed. She's like, no, I can't be here. Yeah, she doesn't want to be over the bed.
Yeah, I'm not really sure why. She likes being under the bed.
Yeah.
Because I think she likes it under there because our bed is kind of low to the ground, and Bambi can fit under there, but Pookie can't because she's... too chubby.
She can get away from that cat.
But I mean, there's not much room under there. But Bambi's like pretty small, so she can fit under there. But Pookie can't. And like I said, we had that. We got that cat toy that's like that.
Yeah.
Electronic little ball thing. It's got like a little feather on it, and it kept like rolling under the bed. And Pookie was like,
what was that?
Waiting for it to come back out. Like, you know what I mean? Because she can't fit under there. It's kind of because the bed that we got is kind of like a. I don't know what you even call that. It's kind of like a sled type of situation. Yeah,
it's just a bed frame.
Like you can, but it's not. But it's not like one that's up on legs.
If it goes down, yeah.
It's one that's like a sled or sleigh bed, I guess they kind of call it that. So it's kind of low to the ground. But if you're small, you can get under there. But Pookie can't because she's too big. Let me see.
What did Phantom say?
Are you guys into Squid Game? We saw the first season, and I really liked that. And then I think we started watching the second one, and I just kind of lost interest.
Korean one, right?
Yeah. Like the one about the weird.
Yeah.
Like what do you call it? The game where you would do all those weird games and then like you would get killed and stuff. And I think I started watching the second season, and I was
Is the television turned back on right here?
I don't know. Like I keep hearing something, and I don't know if that's the neighbor. Yeah, I don't know what that is. I kept hearing something talking like out of that. I'm like, what is that? I was like, is that outside? I don't know what it is. It's like fucking. Yeah, Tammy said, funny, our 50-pound dog is 100% better at the vet than our 19-pound dog. I mean, I don't know. I hate having to take the kitties anywhere, but I know you got to sometimes. But, you know. Isn't there a new season of Squid Game? I thought I saw, like, on Netflix. Because I was scrolling through Netflix. Oh, speaking of which, we were watching Netflix last night because I was looking. I went on there to see if the new season of Wednesday was on yet because I thought that was supposed to be up in, like, November, and it's still not. So I was like, I don't know what the fucking deal with that is. But, they had 4 new episodes of Unsolved Mysteries, and one of them focused on Steve Mera.
Yeah.
And Don Phillips.
Yeah.
Like, who did the Seattle Demon House. Like I wrote the book with the both of them in there. So, they had, like, a whole fucking show about them. Because I'm, like, watching it being... Because they had it was all about Don Phillips. I'm like, isn't that the guy that Steve Mera, like, that, not his partner? It's like, yeah. And then Steve's on there, and I was like, holy crap, it's, like, all about them.
Yeah. I hit him up and says, man, it was a great show, but he goes, oh, thanks.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, hey, we're watching you on Unsolved Mysteries, like, right now. That's pretty weird.
What it looks like is if you shut the Xbox off, the television, our new smart TV, it'll go to kind of like a screensaver.
Uh-huh.
If you don't select anything, it looks like it selects a channel for you. It selected fucking Holiday Channel.
Oh, okay. It's like, here,
it's
you
like,
might want to watch this.
Shut that shit off, yeah. So you gotta shut the TV off. I thought normally it was, with the old TV, it'd be on a screensaver for a few minutes and it would shut itself off if there wasn't any input, you know?
Yeah, our old one would just shut itself off.
Yeah,
but
no,
I guess
that one, it'll play.
Huh. Okay, well, we'll have to keep that in mind then. So you have to, like, definitively turn it off. Otherwise, it's going to choose some weird shit for you to watch.
Yeah.
Now, that's kind of going to freak me out now, because what if it does that, like, in the middle of the night? And
Remember
it decides,
some of the weird shit that our television
and it
used
decides,
to do?
oh, I think that it's the middle of the night and you need to watch, like, the super scary channel.
Yeah.
That, like, something comes on that's all fucking creepy and shit. Yeah, at the old house...
There's a lot of electronic phenomenon
The
happening.
TV in the bedroom only came on
a
couple of times. It was usually the one in the living room. Yeah, while we were asleep.
Yeah.
So that was, like, pretty freaky.
But
like,
the living room came on regularly.
That came on, like, pretty much every other day.
Yeah.
It seemed like.
And it wouldn't go to a program. It would just go to a screensaver.
Yeah. And nobody ever watched that TV.
No.
We didn't watch that TV. We always watched TV in our room. Like, we had a TV in the living room.
It was more for guests.
Yeah, it's like the only time we'd ever watch it is like if people came over, like, and we'd watch a movie out in the living room, but we never watched it otherwise.
We were running a cable service, so they all kind of were connected on the same thing, but I don't know why. The cable dude came over and I said, this thing turns on all the time. And he goes, you have a cat maybe that's stepping on the remote? He says, no, it's not that. I said, but it just comes on every couple days, it'll come on. And he's like, I don't know what to tell you. And I said, ghost.
Your shit's haunted.
Yeah, ghost. Anyway, maybe.
Yeah. Well, it must have been that because there was other stuff happening too.
Yeah.
But it just seemed like it got to a point where it was just like, so I'd get up in the morning and go out in the kitchen to, like, get my stuff, like, before I went to work.
There'd be on.
And it'd be on, and I'd be like, well, there it is again.
Or you'd find a back door open with the cat looking at it.
That was
it was still locked.
That was the freakiest thing.
Yeah, it's still locked.
Because I'm sitting there.
Had a deadbolt.
The deadbolt is sticking out.
Sticking out, yeah.
It was open. It was like the back patio door, which, again, we never opened that.
Yeah.
The only time we ever opened that is when we were, like, moving furniture.
It was around the same time the doorbell rang while we were asleep. You said there was somebody out there. That was creepy. I was
creepy. I was creeped out. Like I said, it was 4 something in the morning.
Yeah.
4:26 or something like that. And I was kind of half awake already because I usually kind of wake up because, you know, I usually have to pee around that time. So I wait and I heard the doorbell and I was like, that was the fucking doorbell. I was like, it's 4:30 in the morning. Who the fuck is that? It can't be good.
It was like somebody's at the doorbell.
And then I was like, okay, maybe I didn't really hear the doorbell. And I was wide awake at this point. Okay, maybe I didn't really hear it. Maybe I imagined it. And then, like, it rang again. I'm like, oh, I definitely heard it that time.
Yeah. She woke me up.
And I was like, somebody's ringing the doorbell. Yeah. It's 4:30 in the morning.
I got up. Next to the bed, I had a Walther 40. P99 and 40. And it had a tactical light underneath it. So I grabbed that and went out to the living room. and I didn't turn that light on. I stayed tactical. So I went through that dark room and looked through the front window and tried to get a better angle to see, because you could see who was in front of the door. All right, and I didn't see anybody.
Yeah, because it was like just two big glass panes.
Two big glass panes in the doors, and then there's a way to. So I was using the windows though next to it.
Yeah.
Try to check all the dead spaces and stuff. And there was nobody waiting for me to open the door up. So I didn't ever open it.
Yeah, because we were like kind of creeping around like that. Because the old house, like our bedroom was over on this side, and it was like a little, like an angled hallway, and then like out into the foyer, and then there was the front door.
Look, people, fucking, I know y'all are civilians and shit. If anybody ever comes at your fucking door at night, do not turn any lights on. You've now announced to them. You showed them where you are. If the window shades are open, they're in the darkness and you're in the light, they could shoot you through that fucking glass and hit you. Okay? Never turn lights on. Leave the lights off.
Well, yeah, because then you can see out.
You can see out. They can't see in.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
I mean, I thought everybody knew that.
No, they got people that are dumb.
I'm a civilian.
They'll turn the light on.
I'm a civilian.
Oh my God, somebody's here. Let's turn the lights on. No, keep the fucking lights on.
I knew that from watching horror movies as a kid.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you always leave the lights off.
Leave those lights off. Don't announce to them where you are.
Well, yeah.
Or that you're coming.
I would do that anyway.
You want to see them first.
Yeah, because, well, when it first rang, like I said, the first thing you see, the first thing you think is not, oh, it's fucking ghosts. You think, well, somebody's ringing the doorbell, probably for a nefarious purpose, or it's a cop. Mm-hmm. That was the first thing I thought, was it's a cop and something bad happened. Like, I was like somebody got run over in the driveway or some shit.
I was thinking there may have been a car accident out front.
That was the first thing that I thought.
And somebody might be looking for help.
Like it's a cop or something bad happened, like in front of the house, and somebody needed something. I thought it was that. Right. But there was nobody.
But then, like that happened, there was nobody there, and then a couple days later, in the middle of the night, the garage door opened.
Yeah.
On its own.
Yeah, it went up also in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
And I think that was the same night too that the door from the laundry room into the garage opened backward.
Yeah. Open inward.
Inward. Which it.
Yeah.
Really it did do that, but not. It wouldn't stay. Like it would. It closed on its own.
That was a strange time because we were working on the book at that time. The book about Mountain Poltergeist. Through most of that. No, that was after a lot of that.
A little bit after,
A little bit after, right.
But I think it started when we were
talking about it a lot.
Talking about that book. Because you told me about that.
Yeah.
Like a long time before.
Yeah.
And then after I talked to your aunt and uncle about it, I was like, that would make a good book. Like, we should write a book about that. And then we started talking about it all the time, and you were trying to, like, remember more shit about it, and it was kind of freaking you out. And then I was talking to Red and Lois on the phone, in California, and all this other stuff, and then shit started happening out of the house.
Yeah.
Because Tom was thinking about it all the time. Like, trying to stir up more memories of, like, more stuff that happened.
Red remembered all kinds of stuff that I had forgotten.
Yeah. Well, he was older.
Yeah, he was older, so he remembered it better in certain areas. He also, like, remembered the way certain things looked. Like, I didn't quite remember the way that lamp, the first thing that moved was a lamp. And I remembered it incorrectly. I thought it was a lamp that was supposed to be like 3 round logs lashed together with a life preserver, like something you would see on the end of a dock. That's not what it was, though. The lamp was actually like a wax candle, spun wax candle, black with all these lines and shit. When they described it to me, I was like, oh yeah, I remember that thing. Back in the 70s, they used to have a bunch of candles like that. You could turn that into a fucking lamp.
Yeah, I remember there was a lot of those lamps and candles that were like all drippy wax.
Drippy looking shit.
Look.
Well, this one
that was very popular.
This one was symmetrical though.
And I remember those.
It was like it was made out of flat ribbons of fucking wax that were all folded in on each other.
I know. Yeah, I know.
It's like that.
I've seen ones exactly like what.
And they weren't solid colors; they were stripes going through it.
Yeah, I had some candles like that too.
Yeah,
that I got for presents, like when I was a kid, because I just think that was really cool.
They said it was that lamp, and I went, "Oh, okay," but I don't know why I remembered another one. It's just weird when you're a kid. Your memory can get kind of clouded over time. About what way certain things looked. But there was no way to deny that all that shit happened. It was fucking bizarre.
I mean, there's no way.
And then it happened later on at Lois's house. So it wasn't location based. It was an event. It was just something I was going through.
Yeah, and like I said, because it happened later, that just cemented our theory that it's you doing it.
Yeah. Or a part of me. It's a subconscious mind.
Yeah, but it's still you doing it.
Yeah.
Is what I said. Well, that's why it doesn't really scare me. I make jokes about, you flinging a brick at my head or something like that. I don't think you would ever do that, but it's just kind of like, so that's mostly just a joke. It doesn't really scare me. Even the first time that I saw it, like when we were sitting in the living room with Jen and Dimitri, and the remote control picked itself up off the table and threw itself. Like, it didn't even scare me. I was just like, wow, did I just see that? Like, I thought it was kind of cool.
Well, imagine if that would happen every 3 or 4 minutes.
Yeah.
For hours and hours and like fucking a week on end. You know what I mean? And it was always different. And it was always acting like it was trying to tell you something or show you something. Because it was always trying to show you something new, what it could do. I was fucking wigged out. I was like, what can this thing do?
Yeah, because you don't
It's definitely strong enough to kill you.
Yeah, if it wanted to.
Right.
And like you said, when you're a kid, one thing, things are a lot scarier. And two, at first you didn't realize that it was a part of you doing it.
No.
So you're going to think this is some kind of outside force that could kill us if it wanted to.
I thought it was a ghost.
So it'd be much scarier. I guess because you had told me so much about it. And I'd been like, man, I wish I'd seen that, man. So when I did see it, it didn't scare me, really. Because the first thing I immediately thought was like, did you do that?
It's definitely paranormal, but it's not supernatural. When you saw it, it looked like something out of the natural world, didn't it? It looked like something possible.
Yeah, it wasn't. Well, that's what I mean about it. It wasn't.
You see it, it's just like, that's what it is.
Yeah, it wasn't I don't want to say it was mundane.
Yeah.
Because it shouldn't have happened. But when you see it, it doesn't look as weird as you think it's going to, I guess.
Yeah.
It
looks kind of understandable when you see it, in a way.
And the first thing I thought when it happened was, did somebody just kick that table? But I knew nobody did, because nobody's feet were in it.
And it was a glass table.
And it was a glass table, and it would have made a noise.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't have flown that way anyways.
And then the sound it made when it hit.
When it hit the floor, yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
And you throw it again, and it goes clack, 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 clack.
Yeah, because we tried to replicate.
Because it weighed very little.
I don't even, I think Dimitri was, not scared either. He just thought it was kind of neat.
He asked me to do it again.
Do it again, Tom.
Yeah.
That's what he said. I remember. Yeah. I even remember his intonation.
Yeah.
That he said because he knew about we had told him.
I was zoning out at the time.
Yeah.
And I saw it happen out of the corner of my eye, but I didn't care.
Yeah, because it was kind of right in front of me.
Yeah.
You were over on this side.
I was looking at the television, but I saw it move through the corner of my eye. And it moved and it hit and went boom. But I was just totally calm. I felt good. And then there was a delay. And then Dimitri goes, "Did you see that?"
Yeah, because I looked at them.
Yeah, and they go, "Did you see that?"
And I was like,
"Yeah,
that happened, right?" And they're like, "Yeah." Their eyes were both like that.
And I went, "What happened?" And she goes, "It flew." And I went, "Oh yeah." Yeah. And he goes, "Tom," and Jenny goes, "Tom does this sometimes." And Dimitri goes, "Tom, do it again."
Yeah.
And I stood up. And I had felt like my hair standing up on the back of my head, and I felt like it was coming back. I was like, oh, shit. And I was like, and I looked down at my feet, and there was a fucking stack of coins at the tip of my fucking shoe.
Yeah.
A stack of, quarters that came from nowhere. Well, they came from my bedside in the other room.
Yeah, we had a little box in there that had a bunch of change in it.
And you explained to me that. What the fuck was that? Why a stack of coins? And I was thinking it was because earlier I had... a day or so before, I said, I wish it would do something useful, like bring me a fucking bunch of money. I was thinking about pallets of fucking cash from the bank.
That's kind of what I was
But the only thing it could bring me was a stack of coins from my nightstand.
This'll have to do.
Yeah. So that's what I think. I was like, oh, okay, there's the money.
But I'm thinking, Tom, that if it could bring you coins from a whole ass other room...
Yeah, distance shouldn't matter.
It could absolutely bring you a few $1 million from a bank pallet.
All right. Before I go to the restroom, I'll go to the restroom. There's a...
Yeah, I have to, too. Here, give me a drink
on
your way back while you're up.
There's a reason why I think it doesn't happen. It seemed like any object that was moved... was an object that I had known about or had contact with, kind of like you become entangled with it at a quantum level.
All right, okay.
So you have to at least see it before you can move it.
So maybe if you worked at a bank.
If I worked at a bank and knew where it was.
And knew where it was, then
yeah,
maybe you could do it.
Right.
Ooh, maybe that's
now that kind of, and I'm going to tell you on a Star Wars term. Okay. If you remember, and like I said, there's a lot of truth in the fucking messaging and shit in all those Star Wars movies, if you know how to look for it. Darth Vader could strangle a dude, all right? If he was right in front of him, he could look at him and fucking strangle him with his telekinesis, which that'd be an easy task, okay? Because I've seen it do things that were much even more impressive than that. So you just strangle that dude out. But you have to know where he is. Vader could kill a guy over a Skype call. He could see another dude in another ship, and in the background is fucking killing him. So he couldn't do it just thinking about it. He had to know where that person was and what their status was before he could do it.
That makes sense.
Which people don't realize that's what they're trying to tell you. And that kind of matches up with the things that I had kind of seen.
I'm just laughing. I was like, that's a great comedy skit in the making. Like Darth Vader killing somebody over a Skype call.
That's what it was.
Like somebody has like a Zoom meeting.
Yeah, he's got a Zoom
and
call.
Like, and like pisses him off, and he's just like, whoa. And they're like, oh, right. Motherfucker. And then his little screen goes black.
And what's funny is that was across the Gulf of Space.
Right, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
Like even on another planet. But if he can see your ass, he can do that shit. So maybe the plan now will be like Tom needs to get a job at a bank temporarily. Could just be for a few days or something, just so he can get the lay of the land and maybe look inside the vault. then he could use his superpowers to. I mean, the thing about it though is they have all the fucking serial numbers on that, so if it disappeared, you wouldn't be able to spend it. You'd have to launder that money somehow. But, you know, girl can dream, can't she? Zach says, I still think what affected stuff at Mammoth is the fact that Mountain is on the caldera ridge of a supervolcano. Yeah, well, like I said, that might have had something to do with it, but I don't know that anyone else reported anything at that particular cabin that I could determine. And, two, it followed Tom. Like it started there, but like then it followed him to his aunt's house, and then many years later it did it at our house too. So it's not location based at all. CB said, yeah, at my grandparents' house I saw a shadow figure. It stared at me for 10 minutes and followed me all over the property. Yeah, see, it's like, honestly, other than the weird poltergeist activity, I've never seen anything paranormal at all, or even that I even thought was remotely paranormal. You know? Like, I've never seen ghosts or anything. The only time that I've ever had, like, weird, you know how you have that really, really strong sensation of, like, being watched and there's nobody there? I've had that 2 times. I had that at my grandmother's house. Like, I was just... And I lived at my grandmother's house for years and years, and I was there all the time. And I never felt creeped out at it or anything like that. But one day I was sitting at the dining room table, and I felt a very, very strong, like, presence. Like, someone was standing right behind me. Like, so much that I was like, what the fuck? Like, you know what I mean? And the only thing I could figure... I don't think this is what happened, but, you know, I said something about it, and my grandma's like, well, your grandfather's ashes are in the urn, like, in the china cabinet, like, that was behind me. But... I don't know. I didn't get a sense that it was anybody I knew. It was just seemed like I thought it was a person like standing there, but there was nobody there. And the only other time that happened was, and this is like so stupid and random. This was when I still lived in Daytona Beach, and I was in the fucking Big Lots. I was in Big Lots, and I was buying some fucking what do you call it? Tupperware. I don't even remember why I needed some Tupperware for some reason, and so I was in there buying Tupperware. And
something attached to the bottom of it. That looks like
it's a dollar store coupon, yeah. Which I think is good for tomorrow. But you have to spend more than $25. I always keep them, but I always forget to take them.
I think there might be some stuff we could buy.
$25 worth of stuff?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure we could.
I gotta get thumbtacks.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, to put that thing up.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I was in Big Lots buying Tupperware, and I'm like in the aisle, and I all of a sudden had this horrible, horrible feeling of oppressiveness, like you need to get out of here right now. And I had never felt anything that intense. And I was just like, what the fuck? Like, I'd never been in this store before. That nothing looked dangerous or anything like that. But everything in my head was being like, get the fuck out of here right now. And so I was like, okay. So I did. But, like, nothing happened as far as I know. Like, you know, it would have been a good story if it had, like, blown up afterward or something like that. But it didn't.
Could have been that something could have happened.
Yeah. If I hadn't left.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Or maybe you were detecting something that was going to happen far in the future, like there'd be a shooting there or something you don't know.
Yeah,
or maybe something that already did happen.
Maybe, but yeah, because I don't think I'd ever been in that store before. Yeah. I mean, it had been there a while, but I don't think I'd ever been in it. And I don't know why I felt that, because it was really intense, and I had never felt anything like that. And it was like, get out of here right now. And I was like, okay.
Me and Jay used to go out every fucking night on Friday night. Went down to the I-Bar downtown.
Friday night, Saturday night.
It was a Friday night or a Saturday night. I don't remember which one it was.
Probably Saturday.
And I started having bad luck and felt bad about it. And I felt this bad energy coming out of the crowd. So let's get the fuck out of there. We went home. That was the night of the Pulse nightclub fucking mass shooting. Fucking, it was just up the street.
That's right, because we'd been... Yeah. Now, we'd been somewhere else earlier that night. I think we'd been at the horror convention or somewhere.
Yeah.
We'd been somewhere earlier.
Yeah.
And then we were going to go down to I-Bar after.
And I had a bad feeling about the shit.
And we got down there and we were walking past the pizza place and Tom was like, man, I don't want to go. I want to go home. And I was like, really? It's like, come on.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. But.
And that Pulse nightclub fucking massacre was half a mile.
But I thought that we were downtown the night of the Pulse shooting because I thought we were outside and somebody came running down and said that it had happened.
No, we left. And then we found out it had happened.
Okay.
It hadn't happened yet. It was still early in the night.
Yeah.
And I said, I knew there was a reason why I was fucking feeling that way.
Yeah, because where the Pulse nightclub was only like a couple blocks. I think it was 2 blocks.
Maybe a quarter of a mile.
From I-Bar. Like walking distance. You could walk there. But yeah. It's weird, like you don't...
That dude worked him over, man. How many people did he kill?
I don't even remember. It was a lot.
At least 20.
I mean, we should probably do a show about that some of these days. Because that happened, like, right...
Yeah, that's a local event for
in
us.
our neck of the woods. You know what I mean? And Tammy asked us earlier if we'd done a show about William Bonin, like the... What did she say? Like the highway killer? I don't think so. But I'll look it up.
If you guys don't know about the Pulse shooting, which you can look that up. It's all over.
I mean, it's pretty famous.
That was a gay nightclub. Or it wasn't gay all the time. It was happening on a gay night.
I thought it was a gay nightclub all the time, but I don't remember.
I remember it as being like only sometimes. Maybe it was, but because other people said, well, it wasn't really a gay club, just they had some gay nights. That's what I heard. But I think the main nights were gay. And dude that did it was fucking, had some religious problems. Fucking he was Islamic. He went out there and fucking shot him up. He was married and evidently breaking up with his wife too. Now, some of the people that were in there said that he would go in there sometimes, which that could be. There's a lot of what they call Bunjip going on in certain places of the Middle East when those guys are young, because they're segregated. Males and females are segregated in a lot of those countries. The dudes, all the little boys start fucking each other. And some of them, resent it, you know what I mean? And then religion tells them they have to atone. So, that might have been a way for him to atone, to go out and fucking kill gay people. Other people be in denial, but fuck, I've been to the Middle East. I've lived there. My grandfather and all my aunts all lived in Isfahan, Iran for fucking ever, and a lot of my extended family's still there. But in most cases, it's like my uncles, and they're all like ex-Task Force 160 Special Operations Aviation Group guys. There's 2 of them. They're brothers, and they're in right now. They're in United Arab Emirates, UAE, and they're private chopper pilots for fucking people in the royal family. And those dudes are a little bit older than me, probably about 4 or 5 years. Those dudes are fucking jacked. They're on a lot of shit, and they're in fucking great condition. real good helicopter pilots, and they're all fucking packing like, fucking those little fucking Scorpion 9mm sub guns, and fucking, they look like SWAT team type guys, but they're bodyguards flying around that shit in fucking suits and shit. But and my grandfather was a defense contractor for McDonnell Douglas, and he worked for the Shah of Iran. They were selling them F-14 Tomcats back then.
Yeah, Tammy said he killed 49 people.
49.
Wounded 53.
Yeah.
Pulse nightclub was a gay club. That's what I thought.
I was under the impression that it had gay nights, but it wasn't expressly gay.
Maybe. No, I think it was.
Okay.
As far as I know. But
some people have said that he was a regular there. I don't know.
Yeah, because CB was saying that he was maybe a closet case.
And I think he might have been.
I'm not really sure. Like I said, I didn't. Obviously I didn't know the dude, but
it's
either that case, or Jeff Yard said might have just been a fundy nut job.
Well, he was definitely that, but the fundy nut job can also be fucking a closet
yeah,
case.
It could be both.
I think he was both, and I think he was trying to atone for his sins
in the most fucked up way imaginable. Elysian says, "Hey, how are you? Hey guys, got a song called Clairvoyance coming out soon."
Who is this?
Elysian. They're the one that live around here. They live around here. Because remember they were saying they knew about the neighbor.
Yeah.
Who's actually quiet tonight.
Yeah. Don't say anything. Don't fuck it up.
I'm gonna jinx it.
Don't jinx it.
Maybe he started drinking really early and now he's like passed out already.
Yeah.
He doesn't do it every weekend.
It's only when he's drunk.
So,
yeah.
I guess he doesn't get drunk every weekend. He's like, I'm gonna like blare this fucking stereo all through the fucking neighborhood and rattle everybody's walls. But yeah, he's not doing it today. Because that's what, at first, when I heard the voices, I was trying to kind of ignore it, and I was like, is that the neighbor? It's like, is he listening to like talk about it? I guess, yeah, the TV turned on. That's gonna do that in the middle of the night, like fucking.
It won't. No, it was on. I just left it on the screensaver.
Right. Oh, okay.
And it selected a channel for me.
That was nice of it.
Yeah, and it gave me the fucking holiday channel.
Okay, so what was on? Was it like
two chicks fucking fighting over a man, a white one and a black one fighting over some white dude? That's what it looked like.
I'm sure he's not worth it, ladies.
They both were wearing fucking. They both had gifts and had fucking Santa shit on, and it was during the Christmas party. They're fighting over that
shit. Like I said, I'm sure the dude wasn't worth it. I think those two chicks should just be like, they should just be in a relationship and forget about the dude. You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying. That's kind of funny. Let's see. He said, yeah, I don't, that fucker shut the fuck up. That's why he's quiet at the moment. Oh, okay. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what his fucking deal is. Maybe he's not home. CB said, me and my friends were in the woods at midnight drinking back in 2004, and we saw a guy warning us. What did he say? Warning us? A week later, a woman was found in the area he was standing. Yeah, see, I hear a lot of stories like that. But like I said, the only time I've ever had that happen out in the wild was at fucking Big Lots, and I don't even know like what that was about. I probably should. I don't think that Big Lots is there anymore. I haven't been back to Daytona in a long time, and it was kind of in a shitty neighborhood. But I mean, I never heard about anything happening there. I just don't know why. Oh no, well, that's not true, because I think one time, this was like a long time ago, when I was married to my first husband, and he went off to work, because I worked a different shift, so so he would go to work in the morning, and I didn't usually work till the afternoon, and he was going, and I had a horrible feeling that he was going to die, and I was kind of like freaking out, and then like after he left, it's like, holy shit, he's not coming back, he's going to die, but he didn't, so I don't know why I had like that horrible feeling.
Who are you talking about?
My first husband.
Oh.
But I think that was like the only time. I still don't know what that Big Lots shit was about. I should look into the history and see if anything really bad like happened at the fucking store at any point that made me feel like that.
Picked up on something.
I must have. I don't know.
Yeah.
Elysian says, Jenny, I'm sorry I creep y'all out when y'all come to my work. You don't creep us out. You don't creep us out.
We come to his work?
Yeah.
Where?
Dollar General.
Oh, Dollar General. Okay, yeah. Okay,
yeah.
I hear you talking
about.
Yeah,
you work at Dollar General, right?
Yeah.
Tom was just... Did you go to there today?
Yeah.
And got sodas? Yeah.
Yeah, I got fucking sodas.
Fucking sodas.
Yeah, I gotta go. I gotta get some other... They got thumbtacks down there, don't they? They should. I need to get some thumbtacks.
Well, yeah, because we got that big mural thing.
Yeah.
What do they call it? It's like a big fabric...
It's a mural.
Mural.
Yeah, it's a tapestry or something.
That's the word I was looking for. Thank you. I'm getting mad cow disease.
Yeah.
And so we have to have like it came with like hanger things, but I'm not real. I don't think that'll hold it up tightly.
Birdie's got a good question. Would you rather see Cujo or Jaws? I'd rather see Jaws.
See remade?
I don't know.
Which would you rather see remade?
Oh, would you see remade? Oh, okay. Cujo. Don't even fuck with Jaws.
Don't fuck with Jaws.
No.
That's like the perfect summer monster movie.
Can't fix it.
You can't. There's nothing you could do to improve Jaws.
No.
Now Cujo, I liked that adaptation. But you could do that again without.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that they haven't remade Cujo because they remade a lot of 80s.
Yeah.
Stevie, they remade Pet Sematary. They remade Firestarter, and what else did they do? They haven't done the Dead Zone, have they? Again.
They got the TV series was good.
Yeah, the TV series. They did a series, which kind of did its own thing, though.
Yeah, it was his own thing. Now,
Yeah.
Cujo is a good story, and the movie was not a masterpiece. It was okay, but it wasn't a masterpiece. So you could remake that. You don't fuck with Jaws. Jaws is a masterpiece.
And I'm actually shocked that nobody. I mean, it's not like they haven't made 40 bajillion other killer shark movies, because they have, but nobody has had the cojones to like actually remake.
It's
Jaws.
hard to replace
because you can't.
How are you gonna replace Richard Dreyfuss? And then the dude that played Quint.
Yeah.
You know. And Roy Scheider. Roy Scheider. That's another one.
Yeah, I mean the three of those. There's like a synergy with those three actors that just like.
You can't really replicate that because those dudes were fucking stars.
That just elevated that movie to like a whole other
realm. The dude that played
realm.
Quint wasn't a star actually, but he was very authentic. That actor who played that guy. Yeah, he felt like the real thing. I don't know if that dude was even in any other movies.
Yeah, I think he was.
Was he? Good.
He's kind of just a character actor.
He's
like one of those that guy actors, where it's like every time you see him, you're like, hey, it's that guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And the special effects on Jaws are kind of weak by today's standards. The shark is obviously a big rubber shark.
It doesn't look that bad.
Doesn't look that bad
for 1975. I think it looks better than a fucking CGI shark.
I think it would look better than CGI.
That's for sure.
Yeah, just you could do it better today. But why would you want to fuck with that?
But don't fuck with it.
That's like saying, let's remake fucking Back to the Future 1. Why the fuck would you fuck with Back to the Future? Or any of those?
Yeah.
They're
interesting that nobody has.
Back to the Future 1 is a perfect movie.
Yeah.
There's no wasted space in it. There's no fucking downtime. There's nothing boring in it. It's constant excitement and fucking story. And shit happened. And all three movies were like that. There's Zemeckis that did that shit, man.
I kind of feel like, Back to the Future, the first Back to the Future, just like the first Indiana Jones, I kind of feel, or Jaws, I kind of feel like it's one of those movies where if you meet somebody that doesn't like it, there's something wrong with that person. And I mean, I kind of feel like there's something to be said for, and I'm never one of those people that it's like, oh, I don't like this movie that everybody likes, and I'm just like, shun them, you know what I mean? I'm not like that. But there's a couple movies like that, like Back to the Future, where if you don't like that movie, I'm just like, I don't know what's the matter with you.
Yeah, no.
How could you not like Back to the Future?
And part of the story of Back to the Future is time, and they're in 1985.
Yeah.
And they're filming it around that time. Why would you want to fucking change it? Everything is period correct.
Yeah.
So everything is perfect for 1985. Got the right stars. Got the right car. It's got the right fucking music. You know that.
That was just lightning in a bottle. You can't replicate.
And I like all three of them. Some people say, well, the third one isn't that good. No, the third one is good too.
Yeah.
But you just have to understand that the third one is more about Doc Brown.
Yeah.
About Doc Brown getting what he deserves, which is the love of a woman. So it's a more of a mature story.
Yeah.
He finally gets married and he shows up. He's got kids and he becomes a Time Lord basically. He becomes a Time Lord. He got a a flying train that's a time machine.
Tammy said they should remake Cujo but make it a Chihuahua. I'm surprised they haven't made... Asylum should make that. Like a killer Chihuahua movie. Has anybody made a killer Chihuahua movie?
No, I don't know.
I'd be shocked if somebody hadn't. They've made everything else.
There's a lot of movies that you just really shouldn't fuck with. And they really want to, but it never works. You know what I mean? Like, they should have never, ever fucked with fucking Ghostbusters. Those first 2 Ghostbuster movies are fucking great. Now, they did have, like, a newer one came out. You know, it had some of the... where the guys are all old and there's some kids involved.
Yeah, that's like a sequel.
That was pretty good.
That was like their kids, like right. Egon's kids, and that was their kids.
But when they tried to reboot Ghostbusters with an all-female cast, that's a bad idea from the very beginning. I wouldn't have done that. Don't read. Ghostbusters 1 is already a perfect movie. That's up there with fucking...
I think that's my favorite comedy.
Yeah, that's almost up there with fucking... for me, you could say that's up there with fucking Back to the Future. Which you cannot improve Back to the Future. There's no way you... Any change you made would be taking away from it. So there's just certain movies that are masterpieces. You don't fuck with them. Yeah.
And I'm not a big fan of like, oh, let's make sequels and shit like that. But it can be done right. I mean, like I said, we saw the Beetlejuice sequel, and that was actually way better than I was expecting it to be. So if they do it right, you know, they don't have to fuck it up. Most of the time they fuck it up, but it can be done correctly.
They can't help themselves.
Well,
mediocrity always tries to fucking get involved with greatness, and they try to fucking... It's not like... That's just like Disney. Disney is a mediocre company. They fucked Star Wars up. It started with the first one. What was it called? Fucking Force Awakens. I thought they were working with something. Then they fucked it up. Because, you know, it's Disney. And a dude who I know works there predicted it. He says, no, they can't handle that property because you wait and see. Yeah, they fucked it up. They even talked about, let's go back and do A New Hope. Oh, they really would have fucked that up. You don't fuck with old Star Wars. Why would you do that? That was done in a certain place at a certain time. You can only replace it. And it has been replaced. Dune. The new Dune is fucking it's better than Star Wars in a lot of ways. You know, I mean, it's not as a cult, but it has a lot of cult shit into it. I mean, the fucking Bene Gesserits and all the shit.
The new Dune movies are great.
Yeah.
They did that shit right.
Yeah. And I think Dune Messiah is coming out.
Well, that was a passion project. I mean, Denis Villeneuve wanted to do that.
So
pretty much his whole life.
you don't go back and fuck with shit. You make something new. And they made that fucking new Dune, and it's just fucking great. There's supposed to be some TV series spin-offs of it.
There's a series on, I can't remember if it's on Prime or Max, or it's on one of the streaming services that we have.
Is it any good? If it's any good, you guys
the Dune series is good, because I'd be willing to watch that too, because it looked kind of decent.
It's got to have good writing, and it has to be canon, or related to canon. You know what I mean? There's a lot of shit.
Because, I mean, Dune is like a fucking
Dune is huge. There's a shit ton of...
Yeah.
And there's a lot more writers.
There's a lot of shit you can do with it, because it's a huge... The lore is really complicated. Yeah, Oracle says, and this is something I always say too, it's like, don't remake good movies, find a mediocre or bad movie and rescue it, turn it into a good movie. And like I said, I'm not averse to remakes. If it was a movie that wasn't that great to start with, I'm not averse to sequels or prequels or whatever, if it's done right, if it's done by somebody that knows what they're doing. Because like I said, for example, I'm going to put up a review on Sunday of the first Omen, which was the Omen prequel, which actually I didn't really have any interest in seeing, but then when I saw it, I was like, wow, that was pretty fucking good. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. I thought it was actually really good. So it can be done in a way that's not just a cash grab. I kind of... The problem is there's just too much money involved. Obviously, they want the movies to make money, so it's like, so we need something that's like a property that everybody recognizes, because you can't... It's much harder to just have something that like completely original that nobody's heard of, and get that to make money and get people interested in it. If you have something that everybody's already familiar with, obviously that's much easier. Yeah. So they're always going to go that route.
Okay, so a movie that they should remake. Now, I'm right there with you. It should be a movie that was a good idea, but it was fucked up, and it really needs to be done right.
Yeah, like if they didn't have the budget, or the wrong director, or the wrong actors
right.
in it, or whatever the case.
There's a bunch of them like that, but the first one that comes to mind is in horror. In the horror segment, and they really need to redo and do right Rawhead Rex.
I would love to see a lot of Clive Barker stuff
Rawhead Rex
made into decent movies.
Yeah.
Because other than Hellraiser and a couple of other ones, and Candyman, Hellraiser and Candyman are kind of like the gold standard. Other than that, I kind of feel like most of the stuff made from Clive Barker stuff was not that great.
Yeah.
And I think that he has the same problem that Lovecraft had, in that his stuff is so out there that it's difficult to translate it to screen.
Yeah, then there's a lot of atmosphere in his writings, and that's really what you should do with Rawhead Rex. Nowadays, with a decent budget, even a small budget by olden days standards, you could make an absolutely fantastic Rawhead Rex movie and not make that character a joke. You know, he was just fucking horrible Irish fucking demon. You know, who
you
was
could
a
make
warlord.
That scary. That could be a scary fucking movie
and
instead of goofy.
He had was a Catholic priest who was being baptized, made his fucking
the monster's
pissing on him and shit. And you see, there wasn't quite enough of that. That was the problem with Rawhead Rex. One, the monster, the suit wasn't good enough. It had to be on par with the Xenomorph. That's how good it had to be. It had to be on par with maybe like fucking Pumpkinhead. That's how good it had to look. Because Pumpkinhead looked good.
Look how cool the Cenobites looked in Hellraiser.
Right.
Like, you need to do something like that.
Right. And then you had a good character, that evil priest that was secretly trying to bring fucking the warlord back from the fucking grave. Or I don't know if he was dead or if he was hibernating. They don't really make it clear. But there's a lot of shit that could have been fleshed out. And yet they had characters that would have been fucking good characters. I would have eliminated the Americans from the story.
Yeah, fuck
There's
that.
no reason to have Americans.
That didn't need to be.
I'd have made that shit Irish as fuck.
You could have one outsider character that was just coming there that was like, I can't remember the original story.
I didn't have a dude from the UK though,
just like a researcher, like from another part of the UK, and he's just coming up here. We're studying the folk traditions of this area, or whatever. You know what I mean? Just so you had somebody that was an outsider that you could like approach the story through.
That story even takes you into the fucking Irish fucking trailer park, where the fucking monster was tearing up the trailers.
Yeah,
you could have all kinds of fun with that today.
They don't make it's weird because and another good Clive Barker adaptation was Midnight Meat Train, but that was bad because that was like it had some weird shit in it, but that was like just mostly like a straight slasher kind of, even though it had like supernatural aspects. But I feel like a lot of his stuff is just like so out there that it's hard to portray it, and so I kind of feel like a lot of movies, like especially when they started making them in the 80s, they wouldn't go far enough. Like they weren't as subversive as his stuff was. They wouldn't, they didn't have the balls to like do a lot of the shit that he would do in his writing. So you can't show a lot of that.
Yeah.
So it kind of like cuts the
nuts
off
do it now,
of it. But now you could do it.
Yeah.
So I kind of feel like maybe
Clive Barker had a lot of sexual fucking perversion type shit.
That was
happening.
like almost all of his shit was like that.
Yeah.
Almost all of his shit was like that.
Yeah, and you got a little bit of that in Rawhead Rex with the priest.
Yeah.
Fucking playing water sports, homosexual water sports. But that shit should have been much more raw. That dude should have been a lot weirder.
Yeah.
They couldn't show it. And I don't even think that was R-rated, was it? Rawhead Rex.
Yeah, I think it was.
Was it? Okay.
Because there was some gore in
it. It was
there.
a weak R rating.
Yeah, I mean, because it came out in what, like 87, 88, something like that. But, or no, maybe it was earlier than that. Maybe it was 86.
And then they had a good idea of the mysterious fucking stained glass windows in the church that showed Rawhead Rex fucking being crushed by something. He was underneath the ground, and remember a little beam of he had at a certain time you held something up to it, and a beam of light would show you a spot on the wall, and that what it was? Wasn't that
something
what it was?
Like that. Either that, or we're confusing it with like the Well of Souls.
Kind of like Well of Souls, but they did something like that.
It was.
They showed
like
you
that.
where to fucking dig or something.
I
remember what it was. It showed you where to bust a hole in the wall. to get the artifact you needed to destroy Rawhead Rex. Remember?
Yeah.
I think that's how it happened.
Something like that.
They needed some kind of holy item to do it.
But yeah, I think that's a good call because I feel like that would have been. I don't know, man. It's just,
it was a movie we liked back then, even
Yeah.
though we knew that was a very imperfect movie. We're like, man,
Yeah.
that could have been great.
And compared to the source material,
Yeah.
it's just there's no comparison.
I never read the source material. Is it good?
Yeah. So well, all his shit is good.
Yeah.
And like I said, he's written so much shit that would make like awesome fucking movies.
Yeah.
But
Well, it was obvious by watching it, even when we were like in high school. We were like, something's missing. This could have been great, but it isn't. It's fallen short, you know. Pumpkinhead blew it away.
I mean,
Especially special effects.
Even a lot of the like short stories from Books of Blood and like a lot of his other novels, like Damnation Game and Weave World. Ooh, that would be awesome. That would have to be like a whole epic fantasy thing because that's like that's a big chunker of a book. But that might have to be a series now that I'm thinking about it. But I don't know. I just kind of feel like there's a lot of potential there. It's weird because he's one of my favorite writers. And they're just, other than like a handful of adaptations, there really haven't been that many great adaptations of his work. Same thing with another one of my favorite writers who is Peter Straub. And they haven't really made many adaptations of his stuff. Like they made Ghost Story in the early 80s, which that could do with a remake. I like the Ghost Story from 1981, but that book is so dense and they had to cut so much of it out. Yeah. Like to make that movie, which I guess was like the right decision because you had to kind of focus it down to like just the main narrative without all this other extraneous stuff. But I kind of feel like that might be a good series too because that is also a big chunker of a book. But I think that would be a good remake too. And I wish they would make Coco. That would be a good one. And I think honestly the best adaptation of his that I like is The Haunting of Julia, which is. He had a novel that was just called Julia that came out in the 70s. And I think in the UK it's called Full Circle. Mia Farrow is in it. And I think it's from 1978. And it's a very old school like ghost story / murder mystery. But I'm really into that movie. Like, and I feel like a lot of people haven't seen it. But I think that's probably like the best Peter Straub adaptation. But they don't make a lot of... I don't know why. He's written a fucking bajillion books. I don't know why they haven't like made more... I guess I was thinking about that the other day because I was thinking about fucking Dean Koontz. Even though I don't really like his stuff. But he's written... And he sells almost as many books as Stephen King. And they haven't really made that many great adaptations of his shit either. I think the only adaptation of his stuff that I liked was... didn't they do... Wasn't The Watchers with Corey Haim? That was him, wasn't it? But they also made Odd Thomas... in 2016, 2017, something like that. And I really liked that. Even though that was kind of more a horror comedy, kind of on par with like The Frighteners. But he wrote a whole series about that character, which I haven't read because I'm not a big fan of Dean Koontz. But they don't make a lot of adaptations of his work either, which is weird. Because they make like Stephen King adaptations out the wazoo. They've made adaptations of Stephen King stuff that I don't even know that they made it. I keep coming across because remember like a while back when we reviewed that movie Mr. Harrigan's Phone, and I was just kind of like, when did they make this? It's just like this is another Stephen King adaptation that I had no idea that they made.
I don't know about you, but we're gonna get a sandwich after the show.
Okay, you're already thinking about that.
Of course. Well, we got another hour left.
Yeah. Phantom says R.I.P. to Olivia Hussey, who died today. Oh shit, man! How old was she?
She sounds familiar. Who is
she?
That?
Was in Black Christmas. She probably got real famous to being in Romeo and Juliet when she was much younger. But she was in Black Christmas, and she played Norman Bates' mom.
Okay.
In Psycho 4.
Okay. Yeah.
That's probably where you know her from.
Okay.
But yeah.
I know the name.
Yeah. But I didn't know she died today.
Well, everybody's got to go. Everybody goes. We're all here temporarily.
Well, yeah, I know that.
You have a certain amount of time.
Elysian says Cenobites are awesome. Did you know they're remaking Nightmare on Elm Street? I thought they already remade Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah.
Didn't they?
I don't know.
And wasn't it terrible?
Probably not good.
Like, I thought the Freddy that they made... Because somebody said, well, the Dawn of the Dead remake was good. I agree. That was from 2004. And when that was first announced, I'm like, man, don't fuck with Romero. Like, don't remake Dawn of the Dead. But I went to the theater and saw that. And I was like, wow, that actually kind of kicked ass.
Which one was
really
Dawn
good.
of the Dead?
The zombie one?
Yeah, the one when they were in the movie, the mall. I don't think I saw that one.
Yeah, that's the mall one, right?
Yeah, the mall one.
Yeah.
Or was that Day of the Dead?
No, Day of the Dead was when they were in the military bunker.
Yeah, yeah. They were in
the underground.
That was actually the weakest one. I thought that was a weak one.
It is. But it does have that dude getting torn in half by the zombies, which is my favorite Tom. Which is my favorite Tom Savini
terrible acting and fucking a lot of implausibilities, but it was done on a shoestring budget, and I don't think they thought about it that much. You know, the other two were better thought out. Even though I think it was probably the same guys, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's the same guys.
It's just it's like they didn't really spend much time on the third one, the concept.
Maybe. I mean, he kept making more. He made Land of the Dead and Diary of the Dead and a couple other ones. They were all pretty... I didn't really like Diary. That was like the found footage one.
Well, you see, another thing is, being ex-military, I see the military guys in the fucking third one, the Day of the Dead, and those are obviously not military guys. They're obviously civilians. They're just... Their hair, the way they act, the fucking... Just everything that they do, how they handle weapons. It's just... It was just cheesy.
Yeah, or because it's funny because that Oracle said this, because I was just thinking this too. Said Manos Hands of Fate could be turned into a good movie.
Could be, yeah.
I have always said that. Yeah. It's like, that's a great
It has a good
concept.
Idea. Yeah.
It's creepy.
You just need you need the special effects to execute the goat legs on Torgo. Torgo's got to be done right. The satanic chicks that was a fucking hot concept. These fucking, fucking...
Yeah, you could do a lot with that.
There's a lot of shit you could do with that. And then this cult leader. The problem with Manos Hands of Fate is the fucking title. It means hands of fate.
Yeah.
It's hands twice. Manos means hands.
Jazz Hands of Fate. Oh, somebody should do a parody called Jazz Hands of Fate. That would be
You
fun.
could call it Manos the Hand of Fate. That might sound a little bit better. The Hands of Fate.
I think they should just call it Manos.
Manos. Probably that's probably Manos. Yeah. That's what I would call it. Manos.
Yeah. I think that'd be a lot better. Because that's kind of mysterious.
Yeah.
And then like my graphic designer brain is going. And then you could just have like that just in plain red, and then you could just have like a red handprint.
Yeah.
Like for like a logo kind of situation. So it could just suggest that.
Yeah.
But not spell it out right. But yeah, that's a great idea. I always thought that was a great idea. It just, the guy that made it, bless him.
Wasn't a filmmaker.
He was a fertilizer salesman.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's
did
just
good
like,
for that.
Yeah, I mean, for that, he probably made a better movie than I could have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He didn't have any equipment.
Yeah, and he couldn't do sync sound.
Mm.
So it's like, so the movie is just like people staring at the camera, not saying anything, and somebody else off camera talking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's all like that.
And he's using people from local drama. Local drama clubs and shit. And I think a lot of the brides, were high school girls, weren't they? In the high school, or just out of high school.
Some of them looked older than that, but it's hard to tell, like, in that day and age, because everybody looked like they were 40.
I think somebody said that they were, like, in the high school drama programs.
Okay. They all looked like they were 40, though.
Yeah.
So, I think that was more the style.
They didn't get paid much,
Yeah, I'm sure they didn't.
Right.
If at all.
Right.
He's probably just like, hey,
paid him.
Come and be in my movie, I'll buy you guys some pizza.
Well, I'm sure he paid, but he probably dropped them a 20.
Pizza and beer. Or something like that. That would be, like, really funny. But, I mean, the thing about it, the girl that played Debbie, the little girl in the movie, she's very... I mean, that was her dad that made the movie.
Yeah, I've talked to her online.
So she has a Facebook page, and she still sells Mano stuff. And honestly, if it wasn't for MST, I don't think that anybody would remember that movie, because they pretty much rescued it from obscurity.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, I don't think anybody would know that movie if it wasn't for Mystery Science
It's a bad movie icon.
Yeah. But there's something kind of...
It's creepy.
Yeah, I think the thing about it is, like, yeah, it's a terrible movie, but there's something kind of hypnotic about it. Like, and there's something like you're not supposed to be watching it. And
It's like watching crime scene footage.
Yeah, and like that's what I mean. It's like, so when they first did it on MST, and this was back in the old days when Joel was still on there, and it's just like one of the things that he said on there, he's just like, man, every frame of this movie looks like, you know, someone's last known photograph. Yeah. And I was just like, that's exactly, like, he exactly nailed it. And so it's like, that's why it's so creepy, and that's why it resonates with people still. And
even though the acting is terrible,
they still do riff tracks, because we went and saw a riff tracks live of it with Mike and Kevin and Bill doing it, and holy crap, that was one of the funniest things
I was fucking busting up. I couldn't fucking take it, man.
And it was packed, like the theater was packed. Oh my god, it was so funny. I think it's on Tubi.
Yeah,
like the one that we saw.
And I'm not a big MST guy. I don't really but riff tracks and the live shows, they're fucking hilarious.
Yeah, we've been to a bunch of them. They do a couple of them a year.
Yeah, you go down to the theater and they live stream that shit.
Yeah, it's usually from there's one theater in Nashville, I think it's in Nashville, where they always do it from, and then they stream it to various other theaters, limited theaters across the U.S. So you go and like watch it at the watch it live. But I think we went and saw the Birdemic one too.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, we saw
the other one that
Birdemic.
Just had me rolling was Birdemic.
Man, that one was so good.
I couldn't stop laughing at them goofing on Birdemic.
My face hurt at the end of that one. I mean, to be fair, they had a lot to work with.
Yeah.
Because that movie is so ridiculous.
Every few seconds I'd be fucking busting up with some funny so shit. Ridiculous. Them commenting on something that happened in that damn fucking movie. Birdemic is a fucking train wreck. It's a fucking train wreck.
But in the most wonderful way.
Yeah.
It's so terrible. Well, like I said,
CGI gunfire. Fucking
the CGI birds, like, just CGI birds, like that.
And they look terrible. Just everything is terrible about that movie.
It's like
solar panels,
and like all of this weird corporate worship. Like they're all in these meetings, and everybody's like super jacked about
solar panels,
about being salespeople, and it's so bizarre.
Yeah,
it's so bizarre, but like kind of charming in a weird fucked up way. Sort of.
When it came across. As like you said, like a corporate training film in certain areas, like, hey, thank you for joining our team, and we're gonna. There was like,
it's like that. It was like
that,
which is super weird.
They're overly jacked about working at Pizza Hut or something. You know what I mean? It's just like, okay.
It's like nobody in real life is excited about working here. It's like, look, just pay me and shut the fuck up. Okay, I'm not your family. I'm not excited about being here. It's like, I just want to be here so I can eat and pay.
Remember when you were a kid, you had to work for those fucking things, and they'd want you to fucking show up on your day off to go hang out with with everybody you work with. It's like, no,
thanks.
They're not gonna pay you or anything.
Right. That's what I mean. It's like a couple places I worked, like I actually did kind of like a couple of the people, and they actually did do fun shit. But it's like most of the time it's just kind of like, hey, why don't you come and do this thing? We're doing this weekend. And like, well, I was like, nah.
Yeah, you guys aren't really my friends.
No thanks.
We just work together.
Yeah, it's like I just have to be here for a paycheck. I don't really want to hang out with you guys if I'm not getting.
You guys
paid.
are all kind of lame.
It's like no offense or anything, but I have other better shit to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, so a lot of people are giving good recommendations on stuff that should be remade. Logan's Run. I mean, I would actually like to see a more recent, more modern version of that. Lord of Illusions. That would also be. That's another Clive Barker one.
If you're gonna do Logan's Run, you got to do it like it was in the book.
Yeah, that would be
different
good.
from the movie.
That'd be good. And then Jeff here, also speaking of Clive Barker, another remake of Nightbreed. I was thinking of that too, which is based on his book Cabal. Yeah, because I like Nightbreed, but it could have been done a lot better. That could have been a lot better.
Nightbreed.
That could have been a lot better. Like nowadays, you could do it a lot better.
I remember thinking it was okay for the time. It was like, they had good special effects and stuff. Or
but
costumes.
compared to the source material,
we probably didn't.
There's a lot more you could do.
I didn't read the source material. So
you could do a lot more with that, which is true of most of his stuff. Which is why his stuff is always kind of disappointing. I loved Hellraiser, but he directed that. Like when other people although like when he directed some stuff later, it didn't come out so good.
I liked Hellraiser when I first saw it back when it came out, but I watch that now and to me it seems slow, and it also seems like not a whole lot happens in it. I don't know. That's just me. Because other horror movies came out that were a lot more shocking than that. After that
was pretty shocking for 1987. For the time, there was really nothing like that.
Yeah, for the time there was nothing really like that. But then, over the years after that, a lot of shit topped it. So I went back and watched that recently, maybe like 3 or 4 years ago, and it was slow, and I thought it was kind of boring. Even though the Cenobites still looked cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's a cool
Yeah.
mythology. Like, the whole thing about it is,
Yeah.
like, really cool. And I
It's
like
not an action movie.
Well, no, it wasn't. It's not supposed to be.
It's kind of like it's kind of like a thriller, kind of.
With a dude trying to get all of his skin back.
Yeah.
As one does.
Yeah.
Burley said People Under the Stairs. That was another one that I was thinking of.
Under the Stairs.
Yeah, that was the
So
Wes
which one is
Craven
that?
movie about, like, the two weirdos that lived in that house with all the orphans, and
I don't
they
think
were
I
all
saw
kind of
that.
like behind. Yeah, you did.
You saw it?
Yeah, because we reviewed it.
I just doesn't come. I can't recall it.
You'd remember it. If
I
it was
remember I
there.
saw it. Right?
Yeah. It was a good movie, but I think that you could do that better now. Toxic Avenger. Oh, and Phantom says a Tourist Trap remake could be cool to see.
Yes.
Supposedly Barbara Crampton is trying to remake it.
Really?
That might be interesting.
That'd be really good. Yeah.
Tourist Trap, I kind of feel like is one of the. I don't know if
That's
it's
a sleeper there.
I don't know if it's really underrated anymore, but I kind of feel like for a long time it was a pretty underrated 70s
When I was a kid-
flick. That's a creepy flick.
When I was a kid, the trailer to fucking that movie scared the shit out of me. I never saw it when I was a kid. I saw it later. Just the trailer alone was enough fucking.
It's very
Scared
it's
the shit out of me.
unsettling. The
What was
imagery
cool
is
about
kind of
that is
unsettling.
it turns out that the fucking bad guys got psychokinesis.
Yeah, which
Make
they
us-
didn't really do a lot.
Yeah.
It was like a slasher, but it also
Yeah.
had like supernatural
He was a
elements to
slasher
it.
dude that had fucking he had fucking paranormal abilities. Yeah, that's a cool angle.
That's it. Yeah, I mean, you could do a lot with that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of movies that I actually wouldn't mind them remaking. I wouldn't mind if they and okay, now here's one that I thought that I'd be really pissed about, but I actually ended up liking it. When I first heard that they were remaking Suspiria, because Suspiria, as you know, the Dario Argento one from 1977, is one of my favorite movies of all time. And I was like, how the fuck can you even do that? How can you remake Suspiria? It's such a singular movie. It's just like you can't do it. But then, when it came out in 2018, he made it so different, like almost the complete opposite of like the visual aesthetic and everything like that, that it almost kind of became, it was kind of the same story, more or less. But I don't know, like that one was really good too. I don't even
was the one about the witches, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the witches at the ballet school.
Had a really good ending. It blew me away when that damn, was it a witch or a demon came out and killed all the other witches? Was it a demon?
Well, the lore behind the movies.
Yeah. I didn't expect that to happen.
Dario Argento got that from Thomas De Quincey.
Yeah.
And he kind of made up this lore. There's these three witches that are kind of like the rulers of evil or whatever. And they have like three. One of them's in New York, one of them's in Rome, and one of them's in Freiburg, Germany. The Suspiria one is the one that takes place in Germany. And they're just kind of controlling all the evil for the world from their three bases or whatever. So one of them's at this ballet school. So in Suspiria, the witch that they're talking about is Mater Suspiriorum. The mother of, that'd be the mother of sighs, would it not? Yeah. Because mother of sighs, mother of shadows. Shadows or darkness? Well, what was the other one? Shit, I don't remember now. It was Tenebrae, Inferno. I don't remember the other one. But yeah, so there were three of them. Three mothers. So it's this whole, like, mythology. I made a whole, like, board game based on it. So I like that he just went in a completely different direction with it. It's, instead of being this kind of fairy tale, super colorful, like, crazy Fantasia, he went and made it, like, this drab, Berlin Wall, communist-looking kind of thing. And it's like, I kind of like that, though. Because you can't replicate... Because I'm sitting there going, if you try to replicate the look of it, it's just going to look like you're just copying. You know what I mean? Because Dario Argento had a very particular visual style. And if you rip that off, then you're just going to look like you're ripping it off. So I kind of like that he took that and did his own thing with it. I didn't think I was going to like it, but I really did. So that's another thing that I didn't think they could remake, but he remade it, and he did a good job.
Somebody's asking if they should remake Clockwork Orange, and I would say no.
No. Don't fuck
No.
with that.
That's Stanley Kubrick. I wouldn't fucking touch
Don't
it.
fuck with that.
And then you think of the can of worms you're opening it up. This is happening in the future of the year 2001, around that time. But it's what the 1960s concept of fucking what 2001 would be like.
Yeah, they were way
Well,
off.
if you're gonna remake this movie, are you gonna put it in 2001? Where are you gonna put it? Is it gonna be a parallel universe?
Like an
2001?
alternate, it might be an alternate history or
Right.
alternate future.
So there's a lot of problems there just with that.
Yeah, that would be a pain in the ass. You'd have to
Right. And you couldn't modernize the story. It wouldn't work.
It's very much of its time.
Yeah, because what's happening in Clockwork Orange, there's no social media, there's no cell phones. There's a lot of stuff that wouldn't translate outside the 1960s, 1970s, around that time.
Yeah, you'd have to make it like an alternate timeline.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the only way that it would work.
Right, because they're driving in a Durango 95. Well, if you're fucking, 1995 was a long time ago. But they were talking about a Durango 95 as it was kind of recent. Just... The book is good. The book is really good. And I'd say the book is as good as the movie, which that's not a testament to Kubrick's fucking skill. And the visual style he gave is very unique.
I love that. That's one of my favorite movies of all time still.
The closest thing to a remake of A Clockwork Orange is Bronson, which is Tom Hardy telling the story of England's most famous convict.
It's a real guy.
Yeah, he's a real guy, but it's done in the Clockwork Orange style. If you like Clockwork story, I think it's very much in the Clockwork Orange style.
It would make a good like double feature.
Yeah.
Because they're kind of like, they're not super, super similar, but they're like a similar vibe, you know what I mean?
It does seem to kind of homage it sometimes, stylistically. Because they let you know that, this is kind of like, the Droogies and shit.
Here's the thing.
This is like some English stuff.
Do you agree?
English crime.
Do you agree with Stanley Kubrick's decision to leave out the last chapter of Anthony Burgess's novel?
Yeah, because in the last chapter of Burgess's novel, Alex becomes like a social worker himself, and he's trying to help.
Like he grows out of it.
He grows out of it. No, it's better to just leave it like that.
I think it was too.
Yeah.
I like the book.
Yeah.
But I remember when I was reading the book, because I think I saw the movie first, and then I read the book like a year or two afterward, and I remember being kind of bummed out. It's not like, I don't know. I think that last chapter kind of undercuts the. I get where he was going with it, but I think it kind of undercuts the impact of it, at least for me. But I think that Kubrick's version where he just left it, where Alex is like, oh, I'm better now I'm evil again.
Yeah, I'm back to the way I was.
I'm back to the way I was.
Yeah.
Like, I think that was a lot more impactful than having this last chapter in the book where it's just kind of like, oh, well, I just grew out of all that.
Yeah.
Like, I got married and had kids or whatever the fuck. Like, he grew up, you know what I mean? And he wasn't a criminal anymore.
Yeah. Now, some stuff that Kubrick did, he did kind of hint at, but it wasn't as underscored as in the book. The book is underscoring how corruption happens and how corrupt the government got. And that because they got corrupt, they were trying to be real humanitarian and they were getting very soft on crime. And they started to allow criminals to join the police force. That was all kinds of weird shit, which compounded a bunch of problems. They show that in the movie, but in the book it's a lot more noticeable that the society was falling apart. And it was also kind of communist. It's kind of like the Soviet Union had taken over all of Western Europe.
Well, hence why the language they were using,
had a bunch of Russian.
Had a bunch of Russian terms in it. It's a made-up language, but it's a combination of Russian and Cockney rhyming slang and a bunch of other stuff, and just made-up stuff. Full Metal Nosferatu says, there was supposed to be a remake of Santa Claus Conquers the Martians, and Jim Carrey was supposed to be Droppo. I don't know how I feel about that. It's weird because on Christmas Eve, I watched the riff tracks live of Santa Claus Conquers the Martians. Normally, I would watch like the old MST of it, but I watched that one last year. I usually watch the old MST of Santa Claus Conquers the Martians and the old MST of Santa Claus, like the Mexican movie, which is a lot better, in my opinion. Like, it's a better movie. It's still terrible, but it's a lot better than Santa Claus Conquers the Martians. But I watched the riff tracks live of it, which was actually, like, really funny. Fucking, and it had like some shorts that were totally bizarre. They always, I don't know where they find these fucking shorts, man. They're crazy. But Santa Claus Conquers the Martians, if you don't know, I don't even remember what year it came out, 60s, I guess. Pia Zadora was in it as a child, and she played a Martian. And it's just, it's so bad. It looked like it cost like $5 like to make it. The fucking costumes are just atrocious. The Martians just have like the cheapest like fucking green face paint and these stupid helmets, and everybody has really unflattering jumpsuits and their junk is like flopping around and stuff like that. It's just, it's terrible. But it's just kind of like this whole thing where the Martian kids can watch Earth TV and they've become obsessed with Santa Claus, or like the idea of Christmas, because they don't have that on Mars, because Mars is like super they take everything super seriously, and you know what I mean. So it's like, so you can't have any fun, and there's no toys or anything like that. So the kids are all getting bummed out about it. So they see all this stuff about Santa Claus. So one of the head Martians decides, well, we need to go to Earth and kidnap Santa Claus and bring him here so we can cheer up all the Martian children because they're all bummed out. And so, you know, wackiness ensues. But there's a character in there that I can't remember the name of the actor that plays him in the original one, the one that Jim Carrey would play, but his name is Droppo. And he is, quote unquote, the laziest man on Mars. Nobody knows, like, why he's even here. Why is he even, like, what his job is. I'm not really sure. Other than just, like, to mug for the camera and make stupid jokes and everything like that. It's the most annoying. You will just want to punch him in the face, like, forever when you're watching this movie. But it was a fun movie, like, to watch Rift, though. Because it's fucking terrible. I kind of prefer the other one that they did, like their other Christmas special, like back in the old days of MST, the one with Mike on it, that was just called Santa Claus. That was the Mexican one, because that one was kind of a little bit weirder, and I don't know, the riffing on it was a lot better. Plus, that episode had the wonderful Christmas Carol that they wrote, "Let's Have a Patrick Swayze Christmas," that was all about Roadhouse, which is like one of the funniest songs they ever did. One of the funniest songs they ever did. I think the funniest song they ever did was the Canada song from Final Sacrifice. Or My Wild Irish Ireland. But that movie with Jill Ireland in it. Remember that one, Alien from L.A.? Do you remember that movie?
I remember the title. With
Jill Ireland and her squeaky ass voice. And it was kind of like an Indiana Jones. Like she fell into a hole and like there was this whole underground civilization. There was a bunch of Australians.
It sounds familiar.
Yeah. It came out in the 80s sometime. It's very 80s. It's very 80s.
Full Metal Nosferatu's talking about there's an unofficial sequel to fucking...
Yeah, Murder in a Blue World. I actually never heard of that. It was released as an unofficial sequel to Clockwork Orange, and in some places released as a Clockwork Terror. I thought it was a good movie. Oh shit, I'm going to write that down. I don't think I ever heard of that. A Clockwork Terror sounds familiar.
What year was that?
So maybe I know it from that, but let me write that down because I'd be kind of interested to see that. And
definitely see Bronson. If you like Clockwork Orange, see Bronson. Tom Hardy. And it's a true story.
Yeah, that dude is
the craziest fucking British convict you could ever think of. Probably the craziest convict I can think of.
Yeah, dude the nut. And he's not like entirely, I mean, he's kind of violent.
Crazy.
He's not a serial killer or anything.
No. He just goes to prison and likes to fight the guards inside prison and to fight against prison, even though he's in prison, and they just fucking...
And he kind of likes prison?
Yeah, he doesn't want it out. Yeah, it's
like he doesn't want to leave.
He's kind of addicted to it. Yeah.
It's a weird... He's a weird dude.
He actually, in the physical fitness world, he's kind of a fucking underground legend. Yeah. Because he wrote entire books on how to fucking work out when you're in prison.
That's right.
All right. Because they don't give you any weights to work out with, so
that's good. That's a good niche market.
Yeah,
that is probably underserved.
And then sometimes they had his ass locked in a little bitty box that you had to stand up in.
Because they kept putting him in solitary.
Yeah, in solitary confinement. He'd be in there for fucking months, evidently. In that little box. So he was trying to work out inside that box. But it's wild. But he did it all to himself. That's the craziest thing. He didn't have to do his time like that. It's just that and he would get more time when he was in prison.
Yeah. Because of acting up.
Yeah, and he got famous in England when during a huge prison riot, he got up on top of the roof of the prison, was waving at the helicopters and fucking putting on a show.
Yeah. He likes it.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, he didn't have to do that. He could have kind of behaved himself and just gotten out. Because what he did, what did he even do, like, to get in there the first time?
Stealing.
It was just like, was it a bank robbery or something like that?
Yeah, no.
He was, like I said, he wasn't a serial killer or nothing like that.
Just stealing.
Yeah, it was that kind of shit.
He does get free for a while. And when he's free, he became kind of an underground fighter. They had him fighting other dudes, bare-knuckled.
Yeah.
Fighting dogs. Fucking Dobermans and shit, bare-knuckled. He'd get all fucked up. He was a good fighter, evidently. And crazy.
Yeah, he's just one of those crazy.
Yeah.
But kind of charmingly crazy. Like, or interesting.
Handlebar mustache and shit.
Crazy.
Yeah.
He's an interesting crazy person.
Yeah. And
you're just looking at him like, why, dude? Why?
He decided he was an artist. And then he loved Salvador Dali, so he started getting Salvador Dali's mustache.
Yeah, he did the Salvador Dali mustache. Yeah. That's like super
just
funny.
A crazy dude. He evidently got married in prison. I think he's out though now, isn't he?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was so cool that they made that movie with Tom Hardy about him. It's a weird fucking movie too. But he's a weird dude.
And Tom Hardy looks good in it. He trained for it. He got fairly big. A pretty good representation of the way Bronson looked. Now, he's calling himself Bronson, but it's his nickname. He's calling himself Charles Bronson. That was the name of it. But I forgot what his real name was.
Yeah, that's not his real name.
That's not his real name. But everybody knows him as Bronson.
I think did he legally change it to that?
Maybe.
He might have legally changed it to that. I'm going to go pee and get another drink. Because he's like, you realize there's already somebody named Charles Bronson.
Yeah. Well, he admired Charles Bronson's fucking toughness. So he's going to call himself Bronson. Yeah. Fuck, he's gonna cut right to the chase. I'm just going to become Charles Bronson. Charles Bronson was another fitness guy. Kind of ahead of his time. Not a big guy. Probably about my size. Maybe 5'6", 5'7". Probably lied about his height. Probably said he's fucking 5'10", but that dude... probably 5'6", 5'7". And he was fucking shredded. Dude was very shredded. You can see pictures of him shirtless, like in the 70s and the 60s, and he was quite shredded. Did a lot of physical fitness. Now, was he natural? Hard to say. Probably, or mostly natural. During the time that Bronson got shredded, Hollywood really didn't have access to the knowledge that, say, was being developed on Muscle Beach. Not all of them. So they didn't really know how to take steroids properly. They could just take a steroid, but it would fuck you up, because you can't. None of them are standalone. You got to run a testosterone base, and then you're going to have to fucking take Clomid to keep your balls working, and then you can take the steroids on top. But they didn't know that back then. That's a modern understanding of the endocrine system. So I look at Bronson in the 70s. I would think he's probably natural. I don't think he would have maintained a physique like that with Hollywood's understanding of anabolics. Now, and another thing is if he was enhanced, he would have aged a lot better. He would have continued on that program, and as he aged, he would have stayed pretty fucking trim, and he didn't, which tells me he was running on the testosterone naturally produced by the body. Because you look now, man, fucking dudes in their 50s. The Rock is in his 50s. I think he's only a year younger than me, which means he's like 54, maybe 55. I'm 55 now. The Rock is fucking awesome. He looks great. Arnold Schwarzenegger did not look that good at 55. Yeah, Arnold had lost a lot of weight. Because even that particular generation, and he was a golden era bodybuilder, even they didn't quite understand what they were doing when it came to anabolics and hormones. But you look at The Rock, man, he's fucking amazing. And he's still on his shit, and he'll be like that until he dies. Now, he might die at 70, but they usually, as long as they keep it sane, live normal lifespans. It's only the dudes that get super big, and they're really doing a lot of abuse to themselves. It's like turbocharging a little bitty engine. You're going to find a weakness somewhere. And if those guys have any heart defects in them, or if they go above fucking 200, they're like 300 and something pounds of pure muscle, the human heart was never designed for that, But, yeah. And you look at fucking Sylvester Stallone. how old he is. He still looks pretty good for his age, even though he fucked himself up a couple times in the past. Looks like using human growth hormone. Distorted his face a little bit, but he fixed that. But he looks fucking healthy for his age. Sylvester Stallone does. He looks slightly ragged out from abuse and other shit, but he looks pretty good for his age.
Did you see that CB said that Bronson got a whole life order, so he's still in there?
He got a life sentence.
I guess they were just like sick of his shenanigans.
Sick of his shit. So you're in here for life.
You're just not coming out.
Well, they probably got to the point where this dude's a menace. We can't let him out. Probably what they said, because he'll just get in trouble again.
Probably true.
Probably true.
They're just like, we're tired of like having to catch you when you get back out because
Yeah.
we know you're going to do something bad. So why don't you just stay in here?
It wouldn't work in the wouldn't work in the United States. You have to commit crimes in order to get time. Maybe he was committing a bunch of crimes inside prison, which you know.
Well, yeah, I think he was.
Right.
Because then you fight the guards and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but that wouldn't give you life.
No, but I think he did it so many times.
So he's like they kind of like they multi-billed him.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it was that
Maybe.
kind of situation.
Yeah. He's crazy. You can't let him out.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, he's just like a crazy person.
Yeah.
Kason Lee said, does Clockwork Orange have extreme violent scenes or
Yeah.
scenes that extremely sensitive people can't watch?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's got very
By today's,
very
it's not
disturbing rape scenes in it.
It's not gory.
Yeah, it's not gory.
But if you're sensitive to rape scenes,
Yeah.
it does have. It's not super graphic, but it's pretty.
It seems realistic when you're watching.
Like it kind of seems like. I'm trying to think of the best way to put it. It's not like super graphic. Like you don't really see
most of
the
it
shit
is,
happening, but it's suggestive enough that it's like upsetting.
Most of it happens when they break into this fucking couple's house and they beat the dude up, the husband, and he's laying on the ground, and they got
they
the
beat
wife,
the
and they're
fuck out of
throwing
him.
her up over the shoulders and fucking having fun with her, and she's screaming, and they're cutting her clothes off. And then they rape her.
Yeah.
They don't really show the rape that much, but they show
basically just show they show him like cutting her clothes off, and then
Yeah.
they show like the husband is like all beat up and tied up
they
and
make
watching.
him watch. Yeah.
And then they just show Alex, Malcolm McDowell, like taking his clothes off, but you're led to assume that she's gang raped because it's a whole gang.
Yeah. It's
And
like
then
3 guys.
Yeah, so they do, and they show a scene. There's a scene earlier where you see another gang, like grabbing a naked girl, like raping another girl, like in an abandoned theater.
Yeah.
Like there's a couple of rape scenes in there.
That was one of the enemy gangs.
Yeah.
And
it's more the idea of it that's kind of.
Yeah. It's not very. It's not. There's. You don't see any blood. There's no gore in it.
Yeah, it's not okay. So like the rape scenes aren't as upsetting as
I Spit on Your Grave.
I Spit on Your Grave.
Yeah, it's not that bad.
But
the thing that makes the rape scenes unsettling in A Clockwork Orange is that the dudes are having fun when they're doing it. They're laughing at it.
And singing.
Yeah,
and stuff.
singing and dancing and shit. It's like
Yeah.
it's no big deal, you know? Like it's all funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like, I think it's more the context because they're not like super graphic. And Phantom says the rape scenes in the Death Wish films go harder than Clockwork Orange. Yeah, like they show more. But, and same with like I Spit on Your Grave or something like that. Like I said, I'm always kind of bothered by rape scenes. I can watch them, but they kind of bother me a lot. So I don't know. It just depends on the context. It doesn't have to be super graphic, but I mean, one of the worst rape scenes that wasn't super graphic but that really bothered me anyway was from that French movie Irreversible. That one kind of fucked me up, like, to be honest. And I Spit on Your Grave kind of fucks me up too, because that one is just so I don't know what's the word that I'm looking for. It's not glamorized at all. It's just gross and fucking, and it goes on like a long time, and there's like no music or nothing. It's just these disgusting dudes like in the woods, and you know, and you're just like watching it. It's just like, ugh. I feel like I shouldn't be watching this. You know what I mean? Makes you feel kind of dirty. But like, you know, they show that just so you can get like the fucking, so you can feel better at the end when she like cuts their dicks off and whatnot, which she do. You know what I mean? Kind of get them like, yeah, go girl, cut that dude's dick off. Let's see. They're talking about Charles Bronson. Yeah, he had like an actually really interesting history, like a interesting backstory. Let me see. Let's see. Bloody Scenes 2. Wait a minute. Yeah, Kason Lee is saying, is there... I guess Kason may be still talking about A Clockwork Orange. They're kind of afraid to watch it.
Yeah, it's a very intellectual movie, man. This is fucking.
It's kind of hard to explain to somebody.
It's a Stanley Kubrick. It's a Stanley Kubrick. Okay?
It's a weird. It's very stylized.
Yeah. You haven't seen it, man. You got to see it. That's a fucking masterpiece.
That's one of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah. But the theme is good and evil. All right. And in comes this fucking a government. It's like a communist type socialist government that thinking is doing the right thing comes out with a way to make people choose right over wrong. So in other words, they take people's freedom of choice away.
By essentially like operant conditioning.
Yeah, they did it by fucking drugs and conditioning. And Alex is the first experiment. And they released him back out the world, and he cannot do any wrong, and he can't survive out there. It's a great fucking flick.
I mean, the book's good too.
Yeah.
But like,
yeah,
Stanley Kubrick really did something special.
Yeah, Alex was the dude that was, he was raping the girls.
Yeah.
Now in the book, he's only 16, if I remember correctly. In the movie, they look like they're in their 20s, but
they're still students because they're still like
they're
at
still in school.
They still have like
right. But they're supposed to be 16-year-olds. They're minors.
Yeah.
And they're doing all this to these girls. And it's happening in a futuristic society that never happened. It's supposed to be like around 2001.
Yeah, because the book was written in the 60s, I think.
Yeah.
So it was supposed to be like an alternate future, like the future, you know.
And 2001 looks very 1970s.
Yeah.
And they do all kinds of fucking kind of cool shit in a way. There's a lot of good ideas. It's out of the book. They would hang out at this fucking place called the Soloco Milk Bar. Moloko Milk Bar, yeah. And it was, inside it had black walls and black carpets, if I remember correctly, and it had all these little white fiberglass statues of nude women. And you could put coins. They were like sitting on these little raised little fucking boxes, you know. And they're in these weird poses. And you could put coins there and they'd shoot milk out of their titties. And you could put your glass there and refill your glass. And each one of them kind of had a different type of milk. One of them was adrenochrome. You can see it's written on the walls.
Yeah, it's like mixed with different drugs.
Yeah, another one was Moloko Plus. And then another one was Synthamask. And then there was a couple of other ones that they were drinking. And I don't remember which one that they liked to drink before they went out and fucked people up and raped people. Wasn't it adrenochrome?
I don't remember.
Or Moloko Plus. That's what it was. Moloko Plus, I think, is what they were drinking.
Yeah. Well, they were going out for the old ultra-violence.
Yeah, they were into the ultra-violence. And it's not in English. It's in a weird mixture of Russian and English and weird slang.
Yeah, the book actually comes with a glossary.
Yeah, so you can understand what it is they're saying sometimes.
So you can understand what they're saying. The movie is easier to understand than the book is, just from context clues. Yeah. But there is a lot of weird slang in there, like weird... Because, like I said, it's a made-up language. Anthony Burgess made up, like a patois, like for the book, and it's kind of like.
What was the name of the language?
Nadsat.
Nadsat, yeah, that's right.
And it's kind of like it was supposed to be like what the teenagers spoke, like in the future, and it's a combination of, like Cockney rhyming slang or a variation of Cockney rhyming slang with Russian, and they use like all of these weird terms and phrases and stuff. So it's like. But I think the movie is pretty easy to understand, but I've seen it a lot of times. Yeah. The book is a lot harder to understand, but it has a glossary.
Yeah, and the boys were in gangs. Each gang had its own look. The gang that was raping a girl in the fucking theater, that was fucking Billy Boy, right?
That was Billy Boy.
That was Billy Boy and his gangs. And they were dressed like Nazis. Basically like Nazis, but with camouflage pants and shit. Alex's gang... He called them droogies.
The droogs.
The droogs, yeah. And they just wore these white jumpsuits with little black derbies and fucking top hats. And black combat boots.
And also, don't forget the, like...
And they wore, like, jock cup protectors over their nuts on the outside.
But on the outside.
Yeah,
And also Alex had fake eyelashes.
One fake eyelash
on one eye.
They all were a little bit different. One
Yeah.
dude had a fake eyeball on his cuff with blood running out of it. And they carried knives and fucking canes that had knives hidden in them, chains, shit like that. And they fought each other too.
Yeah,
inside that gang.
It was it was like a teen gang.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
They'd steal cars and they'd run out to the rich neighborhoods and fucking break into the houses and fucking rape women and steal that car and then leave it again. You know, they did all kinds. They would just do that, and then they would steal while they were there. And then they would pawn all that stuff so they could buy records and date girls. Because they didn't rape all of them. Some of them they just dated. Remember, he dated the two out of
he picked up those two girls in the record store.
Yeah, they show him pick up two girls at the record store. He's fucking them both. They show it in fast motion.
Yeah, that's a funny scene.
Yeah, it's kind of funny, yeah.
Like I said, it's a very stylized.
Yeah, in the book, those girls were like 12 or 13 or 14. They were real young in the book. And in the book, the girls, all the teenage girls wore buttons down their back and down their front. They had the names of all the boys they had sex with. They were keeping count.
Yeah, they didn't put that in the movie, but that's
in the book. That's what it was.
Yeah.
In the book, they all wore little black buttons with a dude's name written in there of the boys that they had sex with. So they were using boys as trophies.
Fun fact: the real band Heaven 17 got their name
from the movie,
from that scene in the movie where he's picking up the girls in the record store and they're asking him what bands he likes, and one of them was a fictional band at the time called Heaven 17. But
Heaven 17, that was his favorite band.
But they I guess the guys in Heaven 17 like that, so they made that as their name. So some people are like doing the slang from Clockwork Orange, yarbles, happy polylogis. Yeah. All that kind of
Cason's asking some more about it.
Not graphic. Okay, I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah, it's not that graphic.
Not soul crushing as Dancer in the Dark. I don't. Okay. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. It's not the same kind of. I mean, Dancer in the Dark was like one of the most depressing fucking movies I've ever seen. But so it's not depressing like that.
No, it's not depressing.
It's actually kind of.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say it's almost kind of fun.
Yeah.
But in a really fucked up kind of way.
He's narrating all this shit. Alex is narrating his experiences. He's going through this shit. He goes to prison. The weird shit that happens when he's in prison. All the old dudes are trying to fuck him. And he was trying to get out of there as quickly as he could. He volunteered to go to that fucking experimental program for treatment.
Yeah.
For early release. And fucking, I don't want to spoil it if you haven't seen it, but you'll find out what the treatment is.
Malcolm Motel was so fucking
good. Yeah.
He's real young, like, in this movie, because this came out in, like, the early 70s.
Yeah.
So he's, like, pretty young in this. But, yeah, he's really good. But, like I said, it's a weird fucking movie. It's very, very stylized. And it's Stanley Kubrick, so, you know, it has that weird Stanley Kubrick vibe to it. But, I don't know. Like I said, it's one of my favorite movies. I've seen it a million times. A million times. But it's hard to explain to somebody that hasn't seen it. That's all I'm going to say. Let's see. Yeah, Zach said, "Oh man, Dancer in the Dark made me cry so hard." That, I mean, all of his movies, man. That's Lars von Trier, right? Lars von Trier. All of his movies are just, yeah. It's like, hey, you don't hate humanity enough today. Like you don't feel shitty enough today. Let's watch one of his movies. But I respect that. Like, you want to make movies like that. But yeah, that was that was one of the most depressing movies I've ever seen. I don't even know. I saw it one time, and I don't think that I would want to rewatch it. I don't think I'd want to rewatch it. Because it's like, look, I like to wallow in misery as much as the next person. But, hell, one of my favorite books of all time is Jude the Obscure, okay? Which is basically like a dude who... bad shit happens, and then worse shit happens, and even worse shit happens, and just like, and then he dies or something. You know what I mean? It's been a long time since I've read it, but it's just like a litany of miseries happening to this poor person. So, but that movie, it was a lot. I don't even know if I want to watch it again. Case and Lee said, "What I'm afraid to watch is movies like Black Swan, where Natalie Portman cuts off her fingertips with the scissors and blood spraying onto the mirror." Yeah, that one. Black Swan is a great movie, by the way. But yeah, it has a little more gore. It's not super gory, but there are like some kind of uncomfortable scenes like that.
What?
Black Swan.
Oh yeah. But no, what has scenes like Black Swan? He's saying he's talking about fucking. He's talking about.
No, he said what I'm afraid to watch is movies like Black Swan.
Yeah,
where Natalie Portman cuts off her fingertips.
Yeah, Clockwork Orange isn't like that.
Yeah, like I said, Clockwork Orange is not graphic. Like, it's not bloody. It's not really even...
Not even all that violent.
A horror movie? I don't even know what I'd call it. What genre is that?
Sci-fi.
It's its own genre. It's like a dystopia.
Sci-fi dystopian treatise on morals. See, the meaning of the movie is that when a society takes away the right to choose from people between good and evil, that they're not good anymore. You're just obedient, so there's no good in you.
Yeah, because the whole central conflict of the movie is this person really good if you're just essentially forcing them to choose good.
Right. They don't have any other choice.
Like, they don't have a choice in the matter.
Right. So
like, then they're obviously not really good people.
So they're exploring that. They're exploring good and evil and the ability to choose.
Which is hence why it's called A Clockwork Orange. Yeah. Because it's like something that's organic on the outside, but is like mechanical.
Yeah,
like
Burgess's book was not just some pulp fucking book. It was... He had a lot of philosophy in it and moralism. Government outstepping its boundaries. Trying to moralize things, not letting people choose, that kind of shit.
But yeah, it's like it's a fascinating thing to explore.
Yeah,
you know,
because now in the movie it doesn't show it, but in the context of the book, eventually Alex chooses to do good. Yeah, he becomes a good guy. He outgrows it.
He outgrows this because he was a kid. Like,
he was a kid when he was doing
like
it.
A teenager.
Right, and he was trying to help other ones that were like him. So. In the book, Alex is redeemed. So what he's saying is that people should have the right to choose. Yeah. And a guy who actually does choose right is a good guy. Yeah. Even if he did bad things in the past.
Yeah, like I said, I can see where both... But, in a way, I kind of like... The movie is a lot more impactful in the
movie's
sense
better, yeah.
that they leave that
Yeah, they don't get into that. Yeah. He just gets cured and he goes, okay, I'm back. And he's a criminal again, and that's basically how it ends.
And that's basically, yeah. So, but I kind of like that they kind of ended with that. Honestly, even some versions of the book, I don't think it's like this anymore, but even some versions of the book that came out back then left out the last chapter. Like, in the United States. In the UK, it was always complete, but over here, for some reason, they left the last chapter out. I guess because they were making it more like the movie, which doesn't have that. But yeah. I mean, it's a classic. I feel like everybody... That's one of those movies... If you're into movies at all, like, as an art form, I feel like it's one that you have to see.
Clockwork Orange, yeah.
Even if you don't end up liking it, because that's, that's just the way shit goes.
You gotta see The Shining.
But I kind of feel like it's one that everybody should see.
Gotta see The Shining movie. Gotta see Clockwork Orange. 2001. Another Kubrick movie. Very good. And then I really liked Full Metal Jacket.
Yeah.
And the Tom Cruise one. What was that one? Eyes Wide Shut. It's another good one. Just that I'd probably put Eyes Wide Shut at the bottom of them.
That was his last movie.
His last movie, yeah.
I saw it at the theater. I didn't like it much when I first saw it. I like it more now that I've seen it several more times. Yeah, it aged well. Yeah. But it's still my least favorite of all his movies.
Kubrick was trying to tell people basically that Epstein Island existed. That's basically what they're talking about. The rich people taking a sexual advantage over poor people. And not just them, poor people taking advantage of poor people sexually. Remember they had that dude who was basically sending his daughter out there to fucking entrap dudes so he could get a settlement from them. Remember that? They trapped the fucking Japanese guys. Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they were just sexual corruption. That's what fucking Kubrick was talking about.
Yeah, Zach says, people say Toni Collette got robbed for Hereditary, which, yeah, I do agree with that. Bjork got fucking robbed. Yeah, I do kind of feel like she probably should have been... She wasn't even nominated for Dancer in the Dark, was she? Yeah. I don't even think she was nominated, which is some bullshit.
She was great in The Northman, too.
Oh, that's right. I forgot she was in that.
Yeah, she played...
Man, what a great fucking movie that was.
Yeah, she played that eyeless witch.
That's right.
Yeah.
She's actually a really good actress, like I said. Like, she's in... I don't think you've seen Dancer in the Dark. I don't know if you want to watch it, because it's, like, one of the most depressing movies ever made.
In case you've seen Eyes Wide Shut in 2001. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you don't understand 2001, you should see 2010. And that's the sequel to it. It explains everything in there. The monolith and everything. What happened to Bowman? It explains it. It's a good movie too. Roy Scheider's in it.
Yeah. And we always love Roy Scheider.
Yeah, he's in it.
Zach asked if we had seen or reviewed All That Jazz. I've seen it, but it's been a very long time. I actually wouldn't mind revisiting it because I remember really liking it, but it's been... I think I saw it in high school. Yeah. Zach says, thinking about Malcolm McDowell got me thinking about Anthony Hopkins. Man, he was pretty hot back in the day. Honestly, Anthony Hopkins was a good-looking dude when he was young. I'm thinking of him particularly from the movie Magic.
Yeah.
From 1978, I want to say that
Creepy movie.
Yeah, I reviewed that, I think, on my Flickers of Fear series. I love that fucking
Remember
movie.
him in Elephant Man?
Yeah, that's right. He was in Elephant Man, too.
Yeah, he played
like
the doctor.
The David Lynch one.
Yeah, Elephant Man, another masterpiece.
I mean, David Lynch is, like, my favorite.
Yeah.
So... And I mean, Elephant Man, I kind of feel like is one of David Lynch's most accessible films.
Yeah. Case and Lee, he saw it 2010. Yeah. In 2010, you find out that the monolith, or if you were a scientist, you would have known in 2000, back in the 60s when 2001 came out, that the monolith is what they call a von Neumann probe. That's what it is. A self-replicating probe that is... They can replicate and they can stay in different. They can over a few million years there would be one of those in every solar system if they could self-replicate. That's what it was. The ultimate expression of fucking technology.
The other movie that Bjork was in, she was in The Northman, which came out last year, 2 years ago. When the fuck did that come out? We saw it in the theater. We reviewed it. That was Robert Eggers, right? Same guy that did Nosferatu.
Yeah, he's saying what? Yeah, it's called The Northman.
The Northman.
Yeah, that's a good movie. It's a retelling of fucking Hamlet. It's the story of Amleth, the original Conan.
But Vikings.
The Vikings, yeah. And if you haven't seen The Northman, man, you gotta see that.
Yeah, I really like.
That's right up there with fucking Conan 1. And it homages Conan 1 if you know the story, if you know the Conan 1 movie. But it's very accurate to Norse mythology. And great acting and fucking wild shit happens in it. Yeah, it's good. Viking story.
Tammy's talking about we were talking about the good versus evil thing, like from Clockwork Orange. Said it's kind of like this Bible thumpers. Are you really a good person if you're only being good so you don't burn in hell? Yeah. See, that's kind of something that I always because that's always something. Because look, I'm an atheist and have been like since I can remember, and it's always been my opinion that if you are only doing good stuff or only a good person because you think you're going to be rewarded or you think you're going to be punished in the afterlife, then I would submit that you are not actually a good person. Because I think that actually good people will just be good people no matter what. You know what I mean? Without thinking about those considerations. So I think that's kind of what it is. If that's the only thing that's stopping you. And I think that's what's so kind of instructive to me about, because sometimes I have seen religious people who will ask atheists, well, what's stopping you from raping or murdering or something like that if you don't believe in anything or if you don't believe in God? And that's very telling. Not about me, about them. Because it's like, I don't need anybody to tell me to not do that. You know what I mean? If you need a supernatural thing to tell you to not do that or keep you from doing that, stay the fuck away from me because you are obviously not a good person. You know what I mean? Because some people don't need that. So I think it's kind of the same. That's kind of the same thing that, similar thing to what Clockwork Orange was exploring, I guess. It was the whole question of like free will. You know what I mean? If you don't choose good, then... Yeah.
Well, that's a good thing that she brought up, because in the movie, the person that protests it the most when he sees the procedure done is a priest.
Yeah.
He's saying, how can you, what you've done to this boy, you know? Now he can't choose between
good and evil. He has no choice, yeah.
He has no choice.
The priest says.
The priest says that. But you go like, well, religion's kind of like that, too.
It's the same thing. And maybe that's why they were
that's why they did that.
Because that's kind of like an ironic statement.
Where in religion, you're choosing the right thing because you're afraid of punishment.
Yeah.
And this one, he was also a choosing because he was afraid of punishment.
Yeah.
So it's about the same.
So yeah, I think they were pointing out the hypocrisy
Yeah.
of a priest saying that
You can't do that.
because that's kind of the same thing. They're afraid
Yeah.
they're going to be punished in the afterlife by going to hell, for example, if they're bad people. But like I said, if you need that, then I don't think you're really a good person.
Yeah. Well, the book Clockwork Orange was an intelligent book. You know, it wasn't a book for dummies. It was a fun book too. And Kubrick understood it. You know, he was a smart dude too. He's like, I'm going to do this movie. You know, which that was the right choice for Kubrick. He did a great job on it.
Like I said, it's still one of my favorite movies.
Yeah,
of all time.
it's epic. It's a masterpiece.
One of my favorite non-horror movies.
Yeah.
Of all, actually, probably my favorite non-horror movie of all time. I have a lot of favorite non-horror movies. I'm trying to think of like some other ones. Amadeus, that's another one. That's one of my favorite movies of all time, and that's not a horror movie. But
yeah, High Desert. High Desert saying people can have a moral compass without having a religion.
I mean, animals have
animals do it. Yeah.
A moral sense
Of fairness
of fairness, reciprocation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They have that too.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's only a human thing.
Yeah, and it's not advanced animals. Fucking a dog, pigs, cats. They go, hey, they got something I didn't get. That's not fair. You know,
they understand that.
Yep.
They understand that. And even like our cats understand deception.
Yeah.
So, which is kind of a higher level thing because that means that they understand what your perception is.
Yeah.
And they are trying to subvert it. It doesn't always work.
No. She tries to stand and hide treats, half-eaten treats, to get a new treat.
To get a new one.
And I said, but you're standing on an old one. You got to eat that one first. And they're like, oh, okay, all right. You saw it, you know.
Because she knows, Because she has the thing. She loves these Sheba meat sticks. They're tuna.
Yeah.
And she'll come in, like, and sit there and, like, stare at Daddy until he opens one.
Yeah.
And gives it to her. And sometimes she'll only eat half of it, and then she'll be like, man, fuck it, and then she'll wander off. So Tom will just kind of leave it on the floor for her to, like, come back. But sometimes she'll come back later and deliberately sit right on it and then look at him again like, Daddy,
can I have another one?
Can I have another one? And he's like, move.
Yeah.
And then he's like, and there's another one under there. And then she'll be like, ah.
He's like, he caught me. Because she wants one that's brand new.
She wants a new one.
Brand new, fresh out of the package. Yeah.
But she does if you catch her, she'll be like, okay. And then she'll eat it.
Yeah.
Because she understands that she's supposed to. Because we're always like, you have to finish it before you can have a new one. She does understand that.
Yeah.
Like I said, she's smart. But she will try to, like, fool you.
Yeah.
But she's smart, but she's not as smart as she thinks she is, I guess. Kevin Evans, I always thought Let's Scare Jessica to Death is an awesome vampire movie. I agree. It is an awesome vampire movie. And I feel like it doesn't really get much love. It has kind of that creepy 70s. Because remember when we reviewed a couple weeks back, before Christmas, we reviewed Silent Night, Bloody Night. And I said, even though that's not a great film, it had the same vibe. Like that same eerie, early 70s, should I even be watching this kind of vibe? Yeah. It gave me the same vibe as Let's Scare Jessica to Death, but Let's Scare Jessica to Death is like way, way better. I remember seeing that as a kid, and it freaking me the fuck out. It's just one of those weird, ambiguous, like you don't even know why it's scary. It's just fucking scary. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't know. It has like this real unsettling vibe to it. Case and Lee said, man, Bjork's music is so psychedelic and beautiful. Yeah. In real life, she's kind of crazy.
Yeah, she's not.
She is kind of, but sometimes that happens. Yeah. I actually got into her when she was still in the Sugar Cubes.
Yeah, I saw her live
back in the 80s. Cubes. Yeah, because wasn't there that tour? It was the Sugar Cubes and PIL and New Order.
New Order, yeah.
I remember that tour. I couldn't go. I couldn't afford it.
Yeah, I went and saw it.
But I remember that tour.
They were pretty good.
I had a poster from it.
Yeah, they had two vocalists. She was like the second vocalist.
Yeah.
The main one was like a dude.
Einar.
Well,
he wasn't the main one.
Well, I guess
he was kind of like the backup.
Trading off. I don't know. I thought he did a lot of the songs live. I think he
on the records though. He mostly seemed like kind of a backup.
Okay.
I never really liked that. I thought he was kind of like goofy.
It was not like rap.
Well, he's kind of like he's almost like he's like the Icelandic Fred Schneider. You know what I'm saying?
No.
But not as cool as Fred Schneider from the B-52s.
Okay, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
But like Fred Schneider is like way cooler.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like he was trying to do that.
Maybe.
And I wasn't super into it. But I will say that the Sugar Cubes album, Life's Too Good, which came out in 88.
I had that one. It was green.
That's a great album. Yeah, it's like lime green.
Green. It had
with
like scribble.
Pink, with like pink on it.
Yeah, and it was like crayons.
That's a great album.
Like it was painted with crayons.
I got their next one also, which I can't remember what the name of it was. It was kind of blue and like techno-y looking. And that was okay. Like that had some good songs on it too. But
she was best when she went solo though.
The first one was good. I mean, the thing about it, if you weren't alive at that time, when that first single Birthday came out, people had never heard anything like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, that was like, people were like, what the fuck is this? Like, you know what I mean? The thing about, because they're from Iceland.
Yeah.
And so they didn't have like this huge music scene or anything like that. You know what's really interesting to me that I read about in one of those books about post-punk is that in Iceland, you know who was a fucking huge band there? The Fall.
Weird.
And I said...
It's a good band, but you know...
And I love The Fall. I kind of feel like they never really got a foothold in the U.S. because they're very British and they're kind of weird. They're kind of like experimental. But I really dug them. But apparently in Iceland, they were kind of a big thing. And and when I read that, I was like, okay, that explains a lot. like about what they sound like. Because they don't sound like The Fall at all, really. But you can kind of hear that influence, or you can hear that they're fans of theirs, I guess. But it's the impact that first album made, that first Sugar Cubes album, was like a big deal, like in the late 80s. And then Bjork went solo, and then she kind of went mainstream, which kind of surprised me a little bit. Because
she
when
was
that
big
first
in the goth industrial scene,
because when that first Sugar Cubes album came out, everyone was like, "Wow, this is weird as fuck," you know what I mean? Because it sounded really different, like to even all the other alternative shit that was out, and it was kind of like something new, and people were really into it. But so it's weird that it got really popular.
Yeah, that song, "If You Complain Once More." Remember that? What's the name of that one? That was, they were playing that in the fucking club all the time.
Yeah, I don't remember. The Bjork song they always played in the clubs, I thought, was "Human Behavior."
Yeah, "Human Behavior" was good. Yeah,
they still play that one now, like nowadays sometimes. But I don't remember what the other one is. That's the main one they always play.
Yeah.
They don't really play any Sugar Cubes or anything. Even though "Cold Sweat" would be great. Oh, it's not a great dance song though. Now that I hear about it, but it's a great song otherwise. But yeah, it's weird to think about because I guess now it wouldn't sound that weird, but it sounded pretty weird like in the 80s.
Yeah, Phantoms reminded us that it's sandwich time.
Yeah.
Let's get in there.
Yeah, you can already tell that Tom's like kind of losing interest.
Yeah, I'm getting hungry.
Because he's like, we ate though.
I might eat some more.
Oh, okay.
You know.
I mean, it was a couple hours ago, but still.
Wasn't that big.
That's true.
I didn't feed you a whole lot.
We still had some like glazed ham left over from Christmas.
I still got a little bit left.
So we just had a little bit of that and like some potatoes. But that was like an hour or two before the show. Maybe. Phantom says, or it's talking about Nosferatu, Lily Rose Depp's nipples stick out far enough to hang your jacket on.
Who's she telling? Oh, yeah.
She did have some really big...
Yeah.
I don't usually notice this kind of thing. I guess because I've been around Tom so much and he's always commenting on people's boobs.
Yeah.
Because it's like, normally I was just like, they're boobs. It's like, okay, they're all fine.
You're not a boobologist.
Well, it's not so much that. It's just that, boobs are different.
Yeah.
Like, she just has different boobs. It's fine.
Yeah.
But she did have, like, really big nipples and really small areolas.
Yeah.
Which I thought was, like, kind of interesting.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Like bullets. Like little 9mm rounds.
I was like, wow, that's interesting. Well, yeah, you don't really see that much, I guess. You don't really see that much. So I just thought it was Boobology 101.
Boobology, yeah.
High Desert said, do you eat sandwiches every Friday?
No. Yeah, maybe.
Not necessarily, because sometimes if we still have, like, food in the house or we have leftovers that we have to eat, like, sometimes we'll just eat that. But I don't know. For some reason, the last few weeks, Tom's like, let's go to Circle K because Subway's still open.
Yeah.
Let's go get sandwiches. And it's funny because, like, pretty much everybody that works there is just kind of like, hey, it's y'all again.
Yeah.
It's y'all
coming at regular time.
It's y'all stupid drunk asses.
Yeah.
Like, coming in here getting fucking sandwiches. Let me see. Kevin asks, have you read Thomas Ligotti? I've read a couple of his things, yeah. He lives in Tampa, my favorite author since the 80s. I probably should read more of his stuff. I don't even know. I might have reviewed one of his books for my like book review series, but I'd have to go back and look. And I think it was like a short story collection. But I have read like some of his stuff. I definitely should do more of his stuff, and I'm gonna write that down because I did like the short stories that I read. Let's see. It's that French gene. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. It's just. It's kind of like it's there. You know what I mean? I'm not a huge Subway fan, but it's close.
Just right there.
It's like right down the street.
Yeah.
Like Publix's sandwiches are better.
Yeah.
But they close at 10
They're
o'clock.
closed, right?
So, you know, the Subway is open till midnight.
Yeah, and I think they're about the same price, aren't they?
And the Circle K is actually open all night. It's open 24/7.
Yeah.
So if you go there after the Subway closes, then they have like prepared sandwiches there that you can eat, which is fine.
All right,
too.
let's shut it down, Jack.
All right, so we are going to shut it down for the evening. Thank you, everybody, for dropping by and hanging out with us this evening, as you usually do on Friday. Hopefully you guys have a good weekend. We'll be back on Monday, where we're going to be talking about the new Nosferatu movie, which we saw yesterday, which was awesome. So you should definitely all go see it so we can talk about it on Monday. It's like, I can't really spoil it because it's like, it's Nosferatu. It's like, and it's kind of Dracula, so everybody knows that story, so it's not like you can spoil it. You know what I'm saying? Everybody knows what happens. So yeah, we're going to be talking about that on Monday. Have a good weekend, everybody, and we will see you guys on Monday night. Good night.